Ta-da! We'll be starting shortly as soon as the ads are done. Oh, hi. Okay, let's do this shit again. Good evening. Hello, everyone. I don't know why I deserve to get bonked, but okay. Hi. So, let's go ahead and start kind of with a little bit of a introduction. I may or may not actually make a YouTube video out of this. We'll see. It really depends on the time I have. Oh, this is a surprise? Yes, today and tomorrow are kind of weird that I'm doing, well, today was really weird because I'm doing 2 streams because, some information came out about Dawntrail and I wanted to talk about it. And I figured might as well do it live. Tomorrow I'll actually be streaming around, an hour earlier than this for the Summer Games Fest video because I really want to see what games are coming out. Alright. Right. So, 1 second, let me adjust the model so I'm looking a little bit. There we go. Alright. Let me also adjust the gaze. It is a little more powerful than I thought it would be. And then I'll do my little intro thing that I want to do for YouTube. Gaze strength, let's lower that down. Yeah, that's a lot better. Alright, cool. Alright! So, for those of you who may be new, my name is Lillianriana. I am a variety VTuber streamer. I do a lot of different kind of RPGs. I've been branching out into puzzle games and a little bit more action games lately as well. Today I'm kind of going to be reacting to the breakdowns of the various jobs and a lot of the media tour information that has come out about Dawntrail. For those of you who don't know what the media tour is, it is basically an event that Square puts on for big content creators in the Final Fantasy XIV community. They do a week per every region, so every major region. They didn't do Oceania because, you know, a lot of them kind of either come to EU or they come to the Japan one. But they do a week for Japan, a week for EU, and then they do a week for, sorry, I'm gonna mute that music, it's a little loud. And then a week for the US. So the embargo just lifted today, so a lot of them have just posted videos. And a lot of these videos will show off some of the new music in the game, break down the jobs, the first zone you get to go to, and the first dungeon. And then also, many of the creators got a little bit of one-on-one time with Yoshida to interview him and ask him some questions. We may or may not go through all of it, but I did at least pull down the breakdowns of the videos. Before I begin, I do want to do a little bit of an explanation on some terms you may hear come out of my mouth, or may be heard in the video. GCD is global cooldown, OGCD is off global cooldown. Basically, global cooldown is based on your skill speed or spell speed, a stat that increases the speed of how long you wait between moves. Off global cooldown is something that is not affected by it, and you can pop instantly. A lot of jobs you weave an off global cooldown in between two global cooldowns, as an example. What else? If you hear 2 minutes or burst, that is just, hey, this is when the biggest skills are all being used at once under a bunch of buffs or damage increasing skills, basically. So, all in all, I'm going to react to mostly videos today, and then tomorrow's stream will also be kind of a reacting to videos, maybe a little bit of art beforehand. I think that's everything. If there are any other terms that you're confused about, feel free to say something in chat. I will absolutely look at it and explain it. For a bit of reference, I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV since closed beta of ARR, or A Realm Reborn, so the 2.0. And so, while I'm not a subject matter expert on these jobs, I do know enough about these jobs to kind of explain things in layman terms for those who may not understand or have a thorough understanding of Final Fantasy XIV. With that being said, there are some jobs I'm excited for, some jobs I'll probably actually talk about a little more because I do play them and have played them in rating and ultimate content. Not that you'll see most of that on stream. I tend to get super focused and don't really talk when I am doing that kind of content. Alright, I think we've done a good enough intro. Let's get into the videos. So we're starting with Mr. Happy, who is like the content creator. He always does breakdowns of every job, so I wanted to start with this because I am very curious about jobs, especially Viper. I have his playlist going, so we'll probably be talking about this. Alright, let's make sure the audio's good to go. And yeah.
Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to my overview on the Viper job that's coming to 14 in Dawntrail.
Here we go. We'll give you that
opportunity to try the expansion out early, and that includes checking out all the jobs, and that includes Viper and Pictomancer. So
yeah, Viper's the new job. Twin sword user, shares gear with Ninja.
In the playlist in the description. Quick disclaimer though, reminder that Dawntrail is still in development. Everything you see here is still subject to change, so don't be surprised if something is different come early access.
So basically they're saying this, basically these content creators get to play a development build of the game where it includes the main city, the main first city, the main first area, the first dungeon, and they're given a character that matches how their in-game character looks usually, or some kind of like generic one, and they're allowed to just record footage of them playing, doing fates, striking the dummy, playing the different jobs, pulling up the traits and skills, and things like that. Last time they do it every expansion, basically, and usually it's about a month or two, usually 2 months prior to when the actual game releases. And then they're put on an embargo until all 3 areas, NA, EU, and Japan have completed their week of interviews and whatnot, and then at the very end of it, they're all told, hey, this is when the embargo ends and you can upload your stuff. Because of that, a lot of them usually get like a week or 2 weeks to kind of sit down and edit it. The media tour actually started the day after the last live letter, which was I think May 15th, May 16th. So they already had their 3 weeks, so all the content creators had that plus an extra week to sit down, do their content. Usually Mr. Happy and Ms. Tech do kind of like breakdowns. Ms. Tech this time just mostly focused on the changes, so I didn't include her videos this time. Well, I didn't include her breakdown videos this time. I do want to actually listen to the music, because she did include the final boss music for dungeons, as well as the actual dungeon boss fight normal boss fights as well. So I'm really interested to see that. Endwalkers wasn't that great in comparison. I feel like Shadowbringers probably had the best boss themes. I enjoyed those the most.
Now, I actually released a video on Viper a few weeks back detailing the job after what we saw in the letter from the producer live, where they did a demo of it and we basically saw almost the entire kit. A lot of what I said in that video ended up being exactly as I said it, so if you've seen it, you are well prepared for this one. There are, however, a bunch of things that I didn't cover in that video that we now know for certain, so I'm going to be going over everything from scratch all the same.
Oh, cool,
the
cool.
Viper has 4 elements to its job gauges, and some are definitely not apparent at
Okay, cool. He actually has nice, clear, big, So remember when I talked about global cooldowns? You see all these buttons here that have like a, almost like a clock counting down kind of animation to them? Those are global cooldowns. This button here that is the Shift 4 that's not glowing like that, that means that's an off global cooldown and you would press it in between 2 global cooldowns.
first.
Oh, that's interesting. So that's what the dungeon's called. Katuma? Okay. This is actually the dungeon I suspected would be the one. I was fully expecting that the dungeon would be the Jungle Cruise dungeon, aka the River Stream. So pleasantly surprised by that.
It's called Viper Sight, and its primary focus is simply to add a visual aid to how you progress through your 3-part combo. After the first 2 series of your basic combo, one or both sides of the Viper Sight gauge will light up, indicating a potency bonus for one of your finishers. This is no different than just following the dotted lines on your hotbar, so follow along whichever one is easier to understand. Under the blades are these red diamonds called rattling coils. These are
So why is there a gauge just to show that the combo is being followed? That's interesting. Are they trying to make better visual cues so you don't have to look at your hotbars as much? I mean, that's not bad. It's actually really nice because then you can make the gauges super big and keep the hotbars smaller, which would help with visually impaired people, or help those with visual impairments. I mean, be able to see that. That's interesting, though. They've never done that before.
Certain attacks and can be expended to use Uncoiled Fury, a powerful range.
Oh wait, Uncoiled Fury delivers attack with potency of 500. Oh shit! That's a straight 500 potency AOE. Interesting. They usually with AOEs have a potency. Potency is basically like times your attack, your basic like main stat is like the base, and combined with determination, it's a mathematical number. Basically, that they do like a arbitrary number times, and then that becomes your damage. Typically, about end game, especially for a melee, you're probably going to see a 30-40k AoE with this. Maybe if it crits, closer to 70-80k. Interesting that it doesn't decrease in potency for all other targets. Because normally, with AoEs in this game, they do have that. So that's interesting.
AoE GCD with several off-global follow-ups. These are primarily a downtime and AoE tool, so use them at your own discretion.
Interesting.
Uncoiled Fury also has a 3-second recast time at base, before factoring in haste or skill speed, so bear that in mind when you're looking to optimize.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if it's already at a 3-second recast, though, I think that's already fairly good.
The orb-looking gauge is called Serpent's Ire. This gauge fills up as you perform certain attacks, such as combo finishers and twin blade actions. With 50 gauge, called Serpent Offering, you can activate Reawaken, a GCD buff that not only activates a rapid-fire attack mode, but also deals high AoE damage around the Viper. It has a 2.2 GCD before any haste buffs at that. The orbs on the bottom are called Anguine Tributes, and these function similarly to Reapers and Shroud, basically.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's interesting. That seems like a lot of its kit is AoE. Like, it seems like you could use it single target or AoE. It has built-in AoE. That's very interesting. Because most melee, you have separate combos for your melee for AoE in comparison, or area of effect, in comparison to your single target. So that's actually fairly interesting.
Of how many reawakened global cooldowns you have left. Once in Reawakened, you will progress through a new GCD combo labeled 1st through 4th generation, all with a slightly shorter recast time of 2 seconds. At level 90, this will be all you do, these 4 generation GCDs. At level 96, you get a 5th stack of the Anguine Tributes and you learn Ouroboros, which replaces Reawaken on your hotbar and acts as the mode's big finishing move. It has a 3-second
Oh, okay, so Camino
as well. At level 100, every GCD will trigger an off-global, 1st through 4th legacy. So you'll just be rapidly alternating between doing GCD and off-global combos up until using Ouroboros and leaving the phase. Just
oh god, it's Gunbreaker! It's Gunbreaker's continuation on a melee! Oh, that's fantastic!
dotted lines, and you should be fine. You can also access Reawaken through using the Serpent's Ire ability at level 84, which grants Reawaken ready for 30 seconds. Expect to use this in openers and during burst windows.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's a burst window skill.
Serpent's Ire also grants 1 rattling coil for your use as well.
Basically, in Final Fantasy XIV, you have 2 minutes. Basically, skills that recast every 2 minutes. And everybody does a lot of their big damage moves during this 2 minutes because everybody's buffs or damage dealing skill abilities that can benefit other people in the party as well are activated at this time. So generally you'll have a party where everybody puts their times it so that all their buffs start at the 3rd GCD or 3rd button global cooldown button you press when you start the fight, and for like 15 to 20 seconds everybody is buffed by several different abilities, which makes all their attacks hit much harder. And that's where you want to throw in all your big damage buttons and everything like that. And then after that, you kind of have your mini burst window at a minute, where some of the abilities are up again because they're 60 seconds. And then after that, you're holding it again for 2 minutes. So every 2 minutes, you're basically dealing a shit ton of damage and whatnot. So that's why they mean by bursts and openers, is that's when you're dealing your most damage. They probably have this in a lot of MMOs and have it completely different, but this is basically how 14 kind of does it. And so a lot of things are designed around this 2 minute meta basic window.
Well, with the gauges explained, let's go back to the basics. Your job largely consists of a left blade combo and a right blade combo, and you'll be alternating between the two on the fly. Steel Fangs is a combo starter associated with the left blade, while Dread Fangs represents the right blade. As you progress through your combos, these abilities transform into the next combo step, providing buffs and debuffs for you to maintain along the way. You'll also have 3 off-global skills that can only activate under specific conditions. Serpent's Tail will only activate and become an off-global after any dual-wielding action, while Twin Fang and Twin Blood become active after Twin Blade actions. Twin Fang and Twin Blood are also used for your Uncoiled Fury off-globals. I reference back to these as necessary throughout the guide. For your first combo action, you'll use Steel Fangs or Dread Fangs. Steel Fangs does higher potency, while Dread Fangs applies Noxious Gnash for 20 seconds. This is a debuff that causes the Viper to deal more damage to the target while it's active. You'll want to keep...
Dread Fang is basically the same skill from Reaper, which it's... fuck, I forget what it's called. Death's Design. Death's Design, yes! Death's Design. Basically, it places a debuff on the enemy, which increases the damage you deal. And you always want to keep this up, so typically you'll weave this in every time you're getting close to that 20 seconds lowering down. I'm gonna guess
100% uptime on this debuff to permanently add more damage to all of your actions. Regardless of which weapon skill you started with, your second GCD option will be either Hunter Sting or Swift Skin Sting.
Okay, so you have your main skill. Oh! They're doing this like how Ninja used to. Okay. So, back before Endwalker, Ninja actually had two combos, Dragon still has theirs, as far as I know. Where you hit your first button and then you do either or. Let me see. Alright, so Hunter Sting increases damage dealt by 10%. So it's an extra 10% damage. Swift Scale reduces the weapon skill. Wait, no! Oh! This is Samurai, but without the stickers. Never mind. Okay, I understand this now.
Seconds, while Swift Skin Sting provides a 15% haste buff for 40 seconds. The buff with the shorter remaining time will be marked with a dotted line when you reach this part of the combo. And if you have neither buff, then both of them will be dotted, and it'll be up to you to decide. Just use the action that's lit up here once you get going. Your final combo action can actually...
Oh, wow! They actually light up based on which one has the lower cooldown? That's a nice visual cue as well. I wonder if they changed that and added that to Samurai. That would be really nice. It'd help a lot of people with Samurai.
Actually be one of 4 actions. You'll have Flank Sting Strike and Hind Sting Strike.
Alright, so that's from the flank. Okay, so they do... Okay, so this is similar to Reaper. Sorry, I'm reading these skills so I can understand this a little bit better. Alright, so... left blade, which you want to light up, and then you want the right blade to light up, right?
Strike on your left blade, and Flank's Bane Fang and Hind's Bane Fang for your right. Obviously, the ones with flank in the name deal bonus damage from the flank, and Hind attacks do bonus damage from the rear. These will naturally progress and swap as you perform and finish your basic combos, and the positional from the finisher will always alternate. So if you do flank first, it'll go rear, then flank, then rear, etc., etc.
Like Dragon.
Follow the dotted lines, and remember the whole flank Hind rules. Each of these finishers will also grant 10 Serpent Offering for your ire gauge. At the end of every basic combo, Serpent's Tail will turn into Death Rattle, just offering a bonus off global damaging skill for you to hit before you begin your next combo. The AoE equivalent is very similar, just with a different naming convention. Steel Maw and Dread Maw are the first combo actions, Hunter's Bite and Swift Skin's Bite for the second, and Jagged Maw and Bloodied Maw for the third. They also transform Serpent's Tail into Last Lash for that bonus off global, similar to Death Rattle, just for AoE. Those are the combo basics, but once every 40 seconds, you'll generate a charge for your Twin Blade skills. Dreadwinder will expend a charge to initiate a single target twin.
Okay, so that one will inflict target with the Nash and grants Rattling Coil. Okay. So every 40 seconds, you don't have to use the normal Nauseous Gas Nash skill. You can use this instead. Okay.
Twin Blade combo, and Pit of Dread initiates the AoE equivalent. Both of these skills apply Noxious Nash to the target's hit, while opening 2 follow-up GCDs and several damaging off-globals. Dreadwinder grants you access to Hunter's Coil for your left blade, and Swift Skin.
Okay. Okay.
Coil for your right. Hunter's Coil.
So it feels like they're mixing Dragoon and Samurai with a little bit of Reaper into this mix. This is actually pretty interesting.
Time you activate a Twin Blade combo. Hunter's Coil grants the damage buff as well, and Swiftskin's Coil grants the haste effect.
Okay.
After activating everything, Twin Fang and Twin Blood will also transform into damaging off globals, granting bonus potency if activated in the right order. Just follow the dotted line. Also, keep in mind that all Twin Blade GCDs have a longer recast than your other attacks, 3 seconds before the haste buff and skill speed. Pit of Dread does the same just for AoE, granting access to Hunter's Den and Swiftskin's Den without position.
I don't like what those Mimi clots look like. That's disgusting.
Apply Noxious Gnash and grant you both of your combo buffs, damage and haste. Great for quickly getting your opener going or for mid-fight maintenance while doing a ton of damage. Each of the following DCs, both Hunters and Swiftskin for single and AoE, also grant 5 Serpent Offering each. Now, they do have a generic range attack as well, but the only other skill I haven't mentioned is Slither, which is their gap closer. It lets them dash to either an enemy or an ally. So, Dragoons, looks like you're not alone in the no defensive category anymore. In fact, they have even less than you. You have Life Surge. They don't even have that. They don't have any raid damage either. So it's like no defensives like Dragoon. In fact, less because no Life Surge. And they're a selfish DPS. So they're going to have to crank some damage in order to be, well, competitive.
Oh, no!
Except that even Dragoon has Life Surge and Battle Litany and all stuff. So Viper's performance is going to need to be top-notch because it's also going to be competing probably with Samurai as they fulfill a similar sort of space. Now,
okay, so that's interesting. So Viper, what they mean by new floor tank incoming? Yes. Okay, so that's interesting. So what they mean by what Mr. Happy means by selfish DPS is, remember when I said that they had that burst window and most jobs have skills that buff everybody's damage? There are a few exceptions to that. Black Mage for the casters, Machinist or Machinist as some people call it, for the physical ranged, and Samurai for the melee. Now, Samurai and Viper have to compete for the same spot, which means they're going to have to crank either around the same damage or Viper's going to do slightly more. Because those two, then Black Mage, should be the highest damage dealers because the fact they're selfish. It's a little bit harder with Machinist. They need to do a little bit above the other physical range, but since they also provide some defensive cooldowns, it makes more sense for Machinist to not hit as high. So that's going to be real interesting.
That was contingent on learning more specifically about the red diamonds on the job gauge. We weren't exactly sure potency-wise how it would all work out, and frankly, I haven't had time to do all the math either. That being said, this opener still seems to largely work out. I just have all...
Oh god, so this whole text, this is your opener / burst window. Okay, so -2 seconds pot, gap closer. Okay, Dreadwinder into Serpent's Ire. Dreadwinder, I think, gives automatic 50, so you go straight into it. Hunter's Coil, GCDs, okay, Reawaken, first generation, first legacy. Yeah, it's very interesting that their speedy window is basically Gunbreaker's continuation mechanic, where you hit one skill and then the continuation version. So it seems like they kind of cobbled together a couple of DPS plus the tank rotation and turned it into something very fast-paced and interesting.
The proper names for everything now. I'm largely following the Endwalker Samurai buff prio on damage buff versus haste buff first. With the longer GCDs, maybe it's better to get the haste one going, but I'm going to leave that to the math people. I also wonder about using Uncoiled Fury during buffs. It has a longer GCD like most of the Twin Blade attacks, but it's 900 potency for that longer GCD plus the GCDs that follow. If you only fit one more GCD and OGCD sets into buffs, then Uncoiled Fury's 900 potency certainly wins in that moment against Dreadwinder. It's It's also, in the case of there being an AoE, I think it would be a pretty clear choice as well. However, again, it doesn't generate 10 gauge. It's got that longer GCD, but if you're comparing it to Dreadwinder, then the longer GCD doesn't really matter as much. So I'm going to leave this to the math people, but my common sense dictates that if you had only one final option, that this would probably win. I just wonder about the over-the-fight loss of using it from melee range versus when you use it from ranged. You don't have to worry about losing gauge because you wouldn't be generating gauge in that time anyway. So I just
that's a good point. That's a good point.
To sit on 3 diamonds forever until you have a ranged moment, unless they plan on giving us ranged moments a lot more, and that's not a common thing. And that would actually make it a lot more interesting for Viper. Overall, the job is pretty fast and fun to play. It's very executional based with a lot of positionals. And what was really confusing to me when I was playing it is
it's the new Monka positionals
interacted and transformed and everything. When the job really just boils down to, now say it with me in the comment section, follow the dotted line. All of them. There's dotted lines everywhere, and it really makes the gauge kind of silly in a sense. It's like,
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Things, you know, like a general resource, you know, gain and then use, and the other one tracks your combo. It's kind of like with Dancer's gauge where it tracks your dance steps. I'm like, I never use that. It kind of just feels that way, but it looks fancy and it looks intimidating. So I don't know. It's just kind of weird.
Well, I think this is for a lot of people with like visual impairments. A gauge is a lot easier to move around than hotbars. And so you could actually put your gauges on the middle of the screen and not block off a lot of stuff and still have like a visual cue for, hey, you need to press a button. So I think that's part of it.
Weird overall, but at the very least, when you get through to it, it does feel pretty good to play. I don't know if it's going to be something that I dabble with a whole lot as someone who gets stuck on fizz ranged all the time. I'll definitely check it out.
Whose fault is that, Appy?
Level. I'm even going to be cosplaying as a Viper for the launch of, well, for the early access launch of the game. So
oh dear Lord, I might queue in to see that for 5 seconds.
In tune with the job and getting the.
Actually, no, I won't, because I'm avoiding spoilers for the story. And I plan to be playing it.
That is going to be a wrap for my video overview guide, whatever, for Viper and Dawntrail. Be sure to like and subscribe and check out all the
we get to see
the
the
existing jobs and check out what I have to say about Pictomancer. I did
that limit break 3 is so cool!
What I got right, what I got wrong, and what's changed since that first video. But again, thank you
Look at that coiling dragon, and then you just
take care.
Jump down.
Hey everyone, Mr. Happy
here we go.
My overview on all of the Dragoon updates coming to 14 in Dawntrail. I was recently given the opportunity to try.
Alright, I'm gonna skim through a little bit of this. Alright, there we go. Alright, let's see what's different. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Oh god, his hotbars are hella different than how I do my shit.
During the Dragoon rework, before we had any details, the job is largely similar to its Endwalker counterpart with a few notable changes, both to the job at level 90 and its new skills beyond. First, some of the changes to existing systems for the job. The biggest one is that you no longer have eyes on your gauge. Mirage Dive is
took out the eyes! What's different is Dragon is no longer the primary floor tank. Yeah.
Now simply a follow-up to your jump or high jump for additional potency, and eyes are no longer required at all to activate Life of the Dragon. Instead, Jirskogel is now a 60-second cooldown, and upon pressing it, you...
Oh, I see! Oh, I see! So they basically turned, Jirskogel into an activate the Life of the Dragon immediately, which means you can now use it in your opener, which is fantastic, because before you couldn't. You could only use it in reburst windows, because in the original, you had to wait until, 30 seconds in order to actually, activate it.
You will immediately enter Life of the Dragon, along with gaining 3 stacks of Nastron ready. Life is also now a 15...
3 sec... Life of the Dragon, increased damage dealt by 15%. It's 20 seconds, which is about Nastrant ready, and Nastrant ready is 3 stacks. Okay, so you can use 3 Nastrans. Which, I mean, to be fair, you could already use 3 Nastrans about in the original rotation, but now they make it as stacks rather than relying on GCDs and OGCDs, which I've noticed they've been doing with a lot of jobs, and it kind of makes sense because now you're not relying on server ticks, but just straight up on a buff duration.
Damage boost, but only lasts 20 seconds instead of 30. That being said, it's as busy as it was before, if not busier than it was, because now you have to do 3 Nastrons, a Star Diver, and another new attack during a shorter time frame. Nastron only has a 2-second recast now, so you can do it 3 times.
I didn't know what Floor Tank was until fairly recently, but since I learned about it, I started to pay attention and notice how often Dragoon ends up on the floor, even when I stay up as a squishy black mage. So Dragoon earns their title of Floor Tank. So the thing with Dragoon is Dragoon has jumps. And jumps can be really fucky. They've been working on it since, like, Shadowbringers. But there are points that Dragoons get locked in their jump, and then a mechanic comes up, and then they fucking die. If you haven't watched Whoops, WOOPS, that is probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, Dragoon player in Final Fantasy who streams. And there are clips where he's been in Ultimate, jumped at exactly the wrong second in Ultimate, turned around and cleaved the entire party with an ad that was ad target. It is hysterical. Because when the server registers jumps, it's based off of where you're at when you jump. So if you do like a gap closer jump and you jump to a different area, it's still recording you as being at the original spot. So it can get really fucky.
Second one I had before.
It's one reason why I don't main it.
Other changes as well, even up to level 90. Battle Litany is now a 20-second buff up from 15 seconds before.
Oh yeah. I remember there were
changes in Dawntrail.
Yeah, I think everything's like 20 seconds now.
From level 64 and onward, called Drake's Bane. This just replaces the final GCD in your 5-part combo.
Oh, at 64. Oh, that's interesting. They put it in Storeblood era. Huh. So basically, to explain this, Wheeling Thrust and Fang and Claw are like at the end of your 3-hit combo. You do your normal 3-hit combo, and then depending on which 3-hit combo you used, either Wheeling Thrust or Fang and Claw would be the next button you press. Solely Estinian is divine timing for his jumps. Yeah, pretty much, but to be fair, Estinian is a stinky boy who likes to dive straight into his enemies and just soak in their blood. So, I mean, you win some, you lose some. Am I right? But yeah, so Drake's Bane is basically going to take the place of either Wheeling Thrust or Fang and Claw. And that way you only have 1 positional per combo. Instead of 2 positionals, and you have to swap between both immediately.
Whether it be Wheeling Thrust,
seems like they're handing a lot of the positional stuff to Viper, which is interesting.
No positional requirements, reducing the number of total positionals you have in your rotation. Speaking of positionals, Dragon Sight is no more. With 1 less positional and the added damage to life of the dragon, it seems they determined it was no longer worth the macro or targeting.
They took out Dragon Sight! No! They already took the tether part of it, now they took the whole damn thing! I mean, it makes sense, though, I guess, kind of to reduce the button bloat a little. Although, looking at this, there's not a lot of buttons, period. Like, this job is now very controller-friendly. I mean, to be fair, most jobs are very controller-friendly. But now it's doubly so.
Headaches the skill was causing amongst players. And finally, a change that we actually learned in the live letter, Spine Shatter Dive is no more. In its place, you now have Winged Glide, a
you don't jump to gap close anymore? You just rush to it? They took out a jump. Well, now that...
no damage gap closer. This will give Dragoon a much
no
more
damage.
Open amount of mobility, now having both the backflip and the 2 non-damage gap closers for you to utilize instead of always using them during burst.
It's a cool animation though. I do have to say, like seeing a little dragon glowing right in front of you is pretty cool.
The new skill. After level 90, they get a few changes that are pretty standard for all the melee jobs. At level 94, you get enhanced second wind, bumping the potency to 8.
Okay. Question is, will that key layout work for any level or 90 plus? Looking at what skills are here, I'm pretty sure it'll work at any level now. Because this right here is just basically your main like your main combo. It looks like they may have upgraded is it Vorpal Thrust? True Thrust? I forget. It's not Full Thrust, I think. No, True Thrust I think is the very beginning skill. Then it's Vorpal Thrust, I think. Then Full Thrust. Maybe. I would have to look that up, but it looks like they visually upscaled the ability that's in the middle here.
To get melee mastery at that level, upping the potency of.
Yeah. Okay, so they did some potency increases at 94.
Single target GCDs. And then at level 98, you get enhanced feint, increasing the debuff's duration to 15 seconds. The new skills after level 90 are mostly updates and follow-ups to existing skills. At level 92, you get enhanced Dragonfire Dive, causing the attack to grant Dragon's Flight for 30 seconds. This buff changes the skill into Rise of the Dragon, a 500.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool. So, Dragonfire Dive now has a follow-up.
150 potency AoE off global with a 50% fall off.
Okay, so that's nice. So now Dragonfire Dive has a combo. That's pretty cool.
Just another bonus OGCD during 2s to replace one of those.
Yeah, so what it looks like here is I think they actually reduced the amount of buttons a little bit. And with the new with the new option to either for some buttons to stop turning into other buttons or to do so, you can actually really edit your controller scheme a lot more.
Missing Spine Shatter dives. At level 96,
although I do want to see if he shows that.
This simply updates Vorpal.
Oh, okay, yeah, so they upscaled Disembowel and Vorpal Thrust. I thought it was Vorpal Thrust. Damn, I'm good. I don't even have 14 open right now, but I was remembering the combo. I'm like, True Thrust, Vorpal Thrust, Full Thrust. That is the OG combo. So that's nice. Because honestly, True Thrust doesn't really need much of an upscale, and probably next expansion it'll get its visual upgrade. Because after the first hit, True Thrust will turn into Raiden Thrust pretty much for the whole rest of the time, because now there's really very little excuse for Dragoon to not hit positionals. Because you only hit maybe one positional now every... This does make me a little concerned since they primarily just upped a bunch of attacks and damages. What are they going to do for next expansion? So, Yoshida was talking about adding a little more variety to some jobs. So that may be what happens. Like, what they pretty much did was in Shadowbringers, they took a lot of jobs and mainstreamed them. Endwalker was kind of a cleanup / quality of life change for them. This one has kind of just been a little bit of an addition on to certain things and more quality of life upscales. I think the next expansion is where they're going to start actually experimenting again, because at that point they will have pretty much finished most of the reworks. I think the only jobs left that honestly need any kind of rework would probably be the tanks getting a little bit of variety in their rotation so they don't feel similar. Because with the changes they made to Paladin, I'm a little concerned that it's too similar to Gunbreaker. And Warrior and Dark Knight are also fairly similar already. So I am hoping they made some changes with that. But this one with Dragoon, what they're basically doing, removing a little bit of button bloat, and, oh, I didn't mean to hit the, and then also making it a little more streamlined. What they're doing basically is they're taking the skill floor for some jobs that was kind of high, and they're lowering it so people can get into it. But they're also leaving room open to optimize things. So one of the big complaints about Dragoon was your big buff was Life of the Dragon. You couldn't use Life of the Dragon for your opener because in order to get to 2 eyes, it takes like 30 seconds since you activate the first eye almost immediately, and then 30 seconds later, then you get the next eye. So by making it to where now you can actually use it in your buff window, they've actually made Dragoon a little bit friendlier to play and also made it align with all the other jobs in the case of buffs. So, and things like that is what they're doing this time. They're finishing up the mainstreaming, and then they're going to get into actually adding some more things to their rotation and or making the jobs a little more complex again, while leaning more into their separate identities, I think.
Just another bonus OGCD during 2s to replace one of those missing Spine Shatter dives. At level 96, Dragoons get Lance Mastery 4, and this simply updates Vorpal Thrust and Disembowel to Lance Barrage and Spiral Blow. They function the same still, but with updated animations and higher potency. Finally, at level 100, you learn Enhanced Star Diver. This causes the attack to grant Star Cross ready for 20 seconds,
which creates
Star Diver into Star Cross.
Yeah.
Another OGCD for your life window, dealing 700 AoE potency.
Yeah, notice how it says 700 potency for the first enemy and 50% less for all remaining enemies. Yet a lot of Viper's AoEs don't have that potency decrease. I think that's how they're planning to make Viper competitive with other DPS by not having that AoE drop off. Granted, that could change, and they could add that drop off in exchange for making the potency bigger. We'll see. They always tweak things. Note that all these potencies and all these things will change. This is a developmental build. They always do what they do is they give like about a month for people to give feedback. They listen to the forums, and then right as the Savage tier comes out, they'll actually do some potency tweaks and maybe some skill tweaks so that those can be tested during the Savage tier. And then because I don't know if they've confirmed when the Eden Ultimate's coming out, but I think it's going to be 7.1. And if so, they'll do another potency update on 7.1 in time for the Ultimate so that everybody's off on the right foot. Because last expansion, Dancer got screwed over hard. And when I mean hard, I mean I couldn't play Dancer because it couldn't do enough DPS to do the tier. That's how bad it was for the first 2 weeks. I actually had to play Bard. You know how much I dislike Bard? Not that Bard's a bad job, it's just not my type.
So basically, both your Spine Shatter dives got replaced with something else in the expansion for your burst. So Dragoons were super afraid, but all in all, they'll feel very similar to Endwalker. No longer needing to manage eyes and life windows will likely be seen as a gameplay downgrade to some of the more hardcore Dragoons, as well as Jir Skogul being 60 seconds instead of 30 now, meaning it's a little less involved. But compared to the doom and gloom fears most had before, it seems the job made out relatively quality of life.
Looking at this, there's not a lot of OGCDs anymore. Dancer DPS was nerfed at the beginning of Endwalker. Yes, it was. Because in Shadowbringers, a lot of Dancer DPS was how hard Tech Step hit. They nerfed Tech Step quite a bit, and in exchange buffed up Standard. The problem was, Standard doesn't crit as hard as Tech Step does. So Dancer went from like 100k Tech Steps to like 30k Tech Steps and like maybe a 50k Standard. So, yeah. And in general, a lot of their skills got a potency nerf. And a lot of it was, I think, in their eyes, they were doing so much DPS on top of having the biggest buffs of all the physical ranged that they wanted to kind of nerf that to make Bard and Machinist more competitive. Which makes sense, but the problem is they didn't buff up the other two jobs even. Well, when they did it, they over-nerfed and over-tuned down Dancer and had to fix it. Because it got so bad, Dancers were actually banned from a lot of PFs because Dancer DPS couldn't make up for Bard hitting twice as hard as a Dancer while having only slightly less buffing skills. So I'm curious to see. I'm really wanting to see what they did with Dancer. Yeah. No, the first tier of Endwalker, I actually tried to do almost hardcore hours, where I took a week off and I did like 12 hours of raiding a day. And I had to learn Bard in an hour and play that because after floor 2, Dancer didn't do enough DPS to make the third fight of the tier clearable. So I had to teach myself Bard in an hour before raid and swap to it suddenly. And then within a week later, that is when they went back and buffed up Dancer again so I could drop Bard like a hotcake.
I know one reaction they'll have though. Dragoon, where's you wanna get Dragoon a defensive cooldown at some point? Monk gets an AoE heal, everyone else has everything going on. Yeah, but enhanced second win. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
That's gonna be a wrap for my overview for Dragoon in Dawntrail. Be sure to like and subscribe and check out all of the other.
Alright, what's next? Oh, Monk. I'm actually very interested in what they did to Monk.
Here. Welcome to my overview on all of the Monk updates coming to 14 in Dawntrail. Now, Monk's been kind of reworked in Dawntrail. Functionally, it will still feel quite similar to what you were doing before, but the effects of many abilities have changed, and the flow of your combos will be somewhat because of this. Twin Snakes no longer gives you a damage buff, and Demolish no longer applies a dot. Instead, you have a new Fury gauge. Upon using Dragon Kick, Twin Snakes...
Whoa! Hold on a second. I mean, I kind of remember some of this, but I gotta remember. That's right. Okay. So this right here is like what I really wanted to know about. I'm pretty sure it just basically replaces the form changes. Wait, did they remove it? No, they still have form shift. Oh, you know what? Form shift still... It doesn't like... No, wait, they still have Coero form. Wait. Yeah, it's right there. I thought they removed that. Okay, I need to pay more attention to this one.
But the effects of many abilities have changed, and the flow of your combos will be somewhat altered because of this. Twin Snakes no longer gives you a damage buff, and Demolish no longer applies a dot. Instead, you have a new Fury gauge. Upon using Dragon Kick, Twin Snakes, and Demolish, you generate 1 stack of Opos Fury, 2 stacks of Raptor's Fury, and 3 stacks of Coral's Fury, respectively. These buffs cause their stance-associated counterparts to become stronger, Bootshine, True Strike, and Snap Punch, respectively. Each use of an empowered skill consumes 1 Fury from its respective stance, so Bootshine would consume 1 Opos Fury, True Strike 1 Raptor's Fury, and Snap Punch 1 Coral's Fury. This means you only use Dragon Kick once every other rotation, Twin Snakes once every 3 rotations, and Demolish once every 4 rotations, just to refresh your Fury gauge. It's a fair...
Which, okay, I see what they did. Okay, they removed the buffs from the attacks, but you still follow almost the exact same rotation. Which is, you would do Twin Strikes, every, what? You could do 2, normal attack rotations, and then you had to do the buff one. So, and with Demolish, the timer on it was 3 GCDs worth, so it is largely the same rotation. They just changed it to a a gauge buff instead of like a debuff and an actual buff on yourself. Okay.
Fairly simple process to follow once you get used to it, and will still somewhat resemble the old buff maintenance rotation close enough,
Yeah.
just without any timers. The Fury Gauge has no interaction with your AoE at all, so you'll just be AoEing like normal during dungeons and whatnot. And with all the buff maintenance gone, it is finally time we bid farewell to a Notman. Can't say that you'll be missed, pal.
Okay, the reason I'm laughing about this, if you guys haven't heard of Drac Gamestein, aka the guy who has the raid group Nest, he's a huge monk main. He fucking hates a Notman. He's going to... I literally can't wait to watch his video go, a Notman's gone! And then you just see the moist critical, yeah! Man. But that's great, because the Notman was fairly useless, considering all it did was... Well, originally, it kept your form, like your Oppo, your Raptor, and whatnot. And it also kept your Twin Snakes buff at max. So, yeah.
Now, several other skills have also been reworked. Six-Sided Star's potency now scales...
Oh, okay, so it keeps the movement speed, but now it uses up chakra, and then, if you have maxed chakra, that's over... That potency's gonna get nerfed. There's no fucking way. There's no fucking way they're gonna keep it at 780 plus 80 for each chakra open, especially if you accidentally activate Brotherhood in overcap, because you can now have up to 10 chakra. Like, that is well over 1,000. I'm up. 1 second. That potency, there's no way. 7, 8, oh, wait. 80 times, what, 5? That's 1,000, that's 1180 potency. There's no fucking way they keep that. I guarantee you that potency goes down to 500. I guarantee you that potency goes down to 500.
With the number of chakras you have, with 80 potency per chakra. While I'm sure some people might be thinking, oh, I should use that as a finisher during my buffs, the intent definitely seems to be to simply make it easier to dump gauge before a downtime phase or right before a monster dies.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Brotherhood now allows you to generate up to 10 chakras while it is active, helping with the major overcapping problem monks have during their burst.
Yeah, so what this is for, during Brotherhood, because you have a 20% chance of opening a chakra when party members land a weapon skill or cast a spell. It was very easy to overcap because you could only have 5 chakra, which then wasted chakra that you could dump off into potency attacks. So this right here is actually a huge quality of life. Like, overcapping was a humongous issue in Endwalker, so I'm really glad they fixed this. This was one change when they said in the last live letter that I was really excited for.
I think that the math works out in such a way that you don't want to use Six-Sided Star during burst. Remember,
yeah.
You have that long recast time after the fact. If a fight ends in the middle of a 2-minute window, though, it can burn these extras. Now, Brotherhood also lasts 20 seconds.
That's true.
15 in Endwalker, giving you a couple of more buff GCDs, and that's going to be important when you hit level 100. On the chakra front, again, meditation now changes to enlightened meditation after you unlock enlightenment. It's not a functional change in any way, but figured I'd mention it. Finally, for existing skill reworks, Riddle of Earth has been given a bonus effect. It still grants damage reduction and still gives you Earth's Resolve upon being hit, granting you the regen you're used to. However, Riddle of Earth now also grants Earth's rumination for 30 seconds after you've been hit.
What does that do?
This changes the button into Earth's reply. And
a 500 potency AoE heal? Are you fucking kidding me? That is a fantastic oh shit button to help the party.
AoE heal. It's 300 potency normally, but if you're under the effect of that regen in Earth's Resolve, the potency is bumped up to 500. Yes, Monk just got an AoE heal. I'm so sorry, Dragoons. Now for post-level 9...
Well, okay. Monk has, like, the most mitigative abilities. Because you have Feint. You now have a self-defense of, Riddle of Earth. Now you can heal the party, similar to how, Reaper can give regen to the entire party. Plus it has... Where's the fuck's meditation? Wait.
90 stuff, it gets a lot simpler to talk about. First are some pretty standard changes that most of the melee got from 90 to 100. At level 94, you get Enhanced Second Wind, bumping the potency up to 800. You also get Melee Mastery 2 at that...
Hold on, there's a skill missing from this bar. Keep the pressure on healers a little lower? Well, I mean, Yeah, it does. But I mean, you're also getting a lot of help in the mitigation department anyways, with the fact that Feint's going to be 20 seconds now, Addle's going to be 15 seconds, sorry, and Feint's going to be 15 seconds, I think, and it's now a 45-second cooldown for, Tactician, Shield Samba, Troubadour, which is a 15% damage mitigation as well. And the nice thing with the changes to Feint and Addle is that usually there's a tank buster right after a giant AoE, and it'll now cover both, which is fantastic for certain mechanics.
Level, upping the potency of your Fury generating combo. Then at level 98,
okay,
you get Enhanced Feint, increasing the debuff's duration to 15 seconds.
Yeah.
The rest of the updates add new animations or follow-ups to existing skills. At level 92, they get Beast Chakra Mastery, updating your
Boot Shine, Leaping Oppo, True Strike to Rising Raptor, Snap Punch to Pouncing Coeurl, and Elixir Beast to Elixir Burst.
Fury-empowered skills and Elixir Field to new versions. Boot Shine becomes Leaping Oppo, True Strike becomes Rising Raptor, Snap Punch becomes Pouncing Coeurl, and Elixir Field becomes Elixir Burst. Same effects, just new animations and higher potencies. At level 96, you get Enhanced Riddle of Wind. This causes Riddle of Wind to grant the Wind's Rumination buff for 30 seconds after use. The ability then transforms into Wind's Reply, a 900 potency line AoE with no falloff. Wind's Reply is also a GCD skill, so it's going to eat some of your buff window GCD real estate.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I hope they streamlined White Mage a bit too, because I have so many damn heals, I can't keep track of them all. I keep forgetting to use some all the time. About that. We'll see. I'm only on the second. I'm still in the third video. We still have there are 20 jobs. We still got a ways to go.
However, since
goddamn, it's been an hour.
Seconds, meaning you have 30 seconds before you shoot this AoE, I'm guessing that if you use Riddle of Wind at the 90-second mark, which would be 30 seconds before buffs, then you could save it for the buff window. You know, you could delay Riddle of Wind.
That's true.
Time, and then you would actually have it going into buffs. Actually, just from the activation of when you activate it in the opener, you might be able to swing that. So that might be the play, is that even when you access Riddle of Wind on off buffs, you still get the big nuke during buffs. So at level 100, you get a similar update with Enhanced Riddle of Fire. This grants Fire's Rumination for 30 seconds, which allows access to Fire's Reply. This is a 1300 potency line AoE with a 50% fall off after the first target.
A lot of these potencies will be decreased. I guarantee it. There's
also
no
grants
way
formless
they're
fist
going to
after
keep
the
a lot of these
activation, so you can
potencies
go
at the
into
end.
whatever stance you want to afterwards. This is also a GCD skill, so that's 2 new GCDs you need to fit into buffs. Now, for my thoughts, I'm a monk lover. I played the job on and off literally since its inception. Heck, my original artwork for the channel included me as a monk. I think the update to the buff management feels okay here. The general flow of the job is still similar, and the new animations are really good. The quality of life on things like Brotherhood, getting an AoE heal with Earth's Reply, and Anatman finally being gone, are all solid changes and additions, on top of some of the other stuff we've talked about. However, I don't yet know how I feel about Wind and Fire's Reply being GCDs in particular. On one hand, I do think it gives a bit more direction to the burst window, since the buff window is pretty much a universal 20 seconds across.
I don't know. I think those should have been OGCDs rather than GCDs, because Monk doesn't really weave a lot of OGCDs. But then again, Monk also has a faster skill speed, so it may make sense in that regard.
Monk has a little bit of time to throw these in at the end, after their usual blitz shenanigans. I mean, Fire's Reply granting Formless Fist pretty much informs you that it wants you to be doing just that. There's also kind of filling the void of that final Demolish reactivation from the old rotation, and I guess also the Twin Snakes reapplication as well. Them being GCDs also leaves room open to track your forbidden chakras more efficiently. You know, they don't want to give you 2 more OGCDs while you're worrying about chakras, even with the overcapping that's now available.
That's true. I didn't think about the fact they'll be weaving a lot more chakras.
When I was using it, like, a common sense told me, oh yeah, those will be OGCDs.
Sorry, I'm going to adjust myself in my chair.
OGCDs. But across other jobs, they do something pretty similar here in Dawntrail, so it wasn't really that surprising. I think it was really just, I didn't spend a lot of time. You know, I had a lot to do, and I only had several hours to do it at the media tour, so I never really took the time to get engaged.
That's fair.
With it, really get a feel for it. Heck, I was fighting with the latency that we had most of the time, and Monk being the fast job it is, that was scaring me more than anything. But
yeah, that's very fair.
I'm curious about how the Wind's Reply bit, where you use it outside of buffs, but then you get to use the nuke inside of buffs, how that actually affects your 2-minute window whenever it's like, so at the 2-minute mark, you know, you would have used Riddle of Wind 30 seconds earlier.
And that's some stuff that, like, I don't really think's necessary.
Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here.
So I'm gonna move on to Ninja.
On all of the Ninja updates.
Like, a lot of that is, like, very much theory crafting for numbers in Dawntrail, but I know that openers and stuff will change. Like, in Endwalker, things changed quite a bit throughout, so I mean, we'll see as it gets closer. I'm very interested in the changes, because I know they removed
Dawntrail. I was recently given the opportunity to try the expansion.
They moved the whole need to use Huton for the speed boost.
This video, be sure to go check out all my other videos. There is a playlist in the description, so you'll have no problem finding them. Quick disclaimer, reminder that Dawntrail is still in development and everything here is still some new stuff thrown in at the new levels. It should still feel very similar to how it was before though. First up, Huton's haste buff is now gone, replaced with a passive trait that just grants you the attack speed when you hit level 45.
Okay,
Huton
that makes
itself
sense.
Is now an AoE attack on the target that grants access to trick attack. It's basically AoE Suiton.
AoE Suiton? Holy shit!
Now. Also, Horizon is gone entirely with this change.
Well, that makes
the
sense.
Windmill Gauge's place is now the Kazamatoi Gauge. This stocks up to 5 kunai-looking symbols. You generate 2 Kazamatoi whenever you land a comboed Armor Crush, and 1 is consumed every time you use a comboed Aeolian Edge, giving it a 60 potency boost. Just you always have a buffed Aeolian Edge handy and ensure you don't end fights with any, or at the very least not many, left over. It'll just let you know how much potency you potentially wasted. The last pre-90 change is that Mug actually got a skill upgrade. At level 66, Mug now becomes Dokumori. This gives it a new
increase attack with potency at 300, increase target's damage taken by 5%. I mean, I don't understand why they still keep this part, because nobody brings Ninja just to get the chance of additional items for the most part. Higi.
new animation and a higher potency, but the same overall effect. Looks much more ninja-like. After 90, there are some traits that are pretty much shared across all the melees in some capacity. At level 94, you get Enhanced Second Wind, bumping the potency up to 800. You get
Which is
Melee
good.
Mastery 3 at that level as well.
Fuma Shuriken to 480. How often are you actually going to use Fuma Shuriken? Though. 5% vulnerability is nice for boss fights, though. Oh, yeah. No. That's the whole point of that. I was just talking about the actual, like, item drop, why it's still, like, why they still bother with that in the ninja toolkit when it doesn't affect savage loot or anything like that, you know? It's just a weird thing that I guess they just want to keep in case you want to go farm mob drops or something out in the real world, out in the overworld for, like, crafting items. But the 5% vulnerability is nice, yes.
Upping the potency of a ton of your skills and abilities on Ninja. Then at level 9.
Oh, that's interesting. So now they're adding a increased buff to Bakavakra when you get the Mesui from using up your Suiton. It's just always been part of the class in FF games. Yeah, that's true. Okay, damn.
You get Enhanced Feint, increasing the debuff's duration to 15 seconds. For brand new stuff for Ninja, it's mostly upgrades and follow-ups to existing skills. At level 92, they get Trick Attack Mastery, transforming the skill into Kunai's Bane. This raises the potency and more important.
Hold on! Trick Attack is now an AoE? They actually threw AoE Trick Attack and AoE Mug? Holy shit! Ninja's AoE damage is gonna be freaking insane! That is insane! That's going to be a 15% damage boost when doing AoE for trash mobs and everything. That is going to make their ability to, oh my god, that's gonna make dungeons nice as Ninja.
It also removes the bonus potency for hitting from the rear, so apply Kunai's Bane debuff from any side safely.
Oh wow, and they removed the positional from it too. I mean, I kind of suspected they probably would at some point, but that's damn, that's fantastic.
Enhanced Dokumori. This causes your now upgraded mug to give you the Higi buff for 30 seconds after use. This changes your next Hellfrog Medium or Babakakra into Death Frog Medium or Zesho Meppo.
Okay. Oh, I see. So basically this is an upscaled ability, basically an upscaled version of them.
Respectively. Same effect, more damage, new animation. Finally, at level 100, they get Enhanced Tenchi Jin. This causes the skill to grant Tenri Jindo ready for 30 seconds after you complete all of your ninjutsus under the effect. This will change the button into Tenri Jindo, a 1000 potency off global with a 50% fall off. Another big damage ability for your buff windows. Even though the Huton
Whoa, the Tenri Jindo skill looks really cool.
Is gone, the other core aspects of the job are largely intact. There's still some minor buff management with Kazumatoi, and many skills got a more ninja-esque aesthetic to them, and you get AoE Trick now, which is pretty cool. This adds a bit of
AoE Trick is fan-fucking-tastic.
And just gives you some fancy new stuff to look at when you're doing burst. I think ninjas will overall be pretty pleased with these changes if they enjoyed the job in Endwalker. But that's going to be a wrap for my video on the ninja.
Yeah, that's why this is too short. That's actually fantastic. Like, making Mug and Trick Attack AoE is great because when you use it to skills in dungeons, it always felt awkward because you had to pick one specific enemy for it.
Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here. And
yeah, this will be another short video.
All of the Reaper updates coming to 14 in Dawntrail. I was recently given the opportunity. Dawntrail is still identical to its Endwalker equivalent, just with some quality of life and follow-ups to existing skills. Now, level 90 and under did get some notable changes for the job. First off, Hell's Ingress and Egress now provide Harp with another bonus effect on top of what it was already doing before.
Wait, next Harp will reduce. Oh. Okay, so now you can use your gap when you need to move away. You can you can do your back step, throw harp, and it'll reduce the recast timer so that you can, after you use your threshold, you have 5 seconds less to wait until you can use this skill again.
The buffed harp is not only instant cast, but also reduces the cooldown of ingress or egress by 5 seconds. Makes for a decent mobility bonus.
Yeah.
Harp itself also got a small update. It now also provides 10 soul gauge per use. This is more usable, especially when paired with the...
Oh, that's fantastic. So if you have like time where you have to move out of skills, you can still get soul gauge, and then when you can move back in, you can continue using soul gauge. Oh, that is wonderful.
Its potency is still the same, however. Lastly, for the 90 and under changes, Plentiful Harvest now no longer grants 50 Shroud Gauge. Instead, it provides the buff Ideal Host for 30.
Hold on a second. 1 stack. Royal Sacrifice cost 1 stack. Potency as... Yeah. So they still kept that mechanic. Great. Well, I mean, to be fair, they kind of fixed a lot of it. Oh. So grants Ideal Host, which is instant Enshroud. Perfectio Occulta, which is Perfectio Parada, which is the secondary Communio follow-up.
30 seconds.
Okay.
This allows you 1 free use of Enshrouded, so you just can't overcap with the skill anymore. For post-90 skills...
Okay, so that's what they did, was with a lot of these skills like it, they prevent you from overcapping, which actually in some situations can be annoying with Reaper.
Has a few changes that are pretty standard across all the melee. At level 94, you get Enhanced Second Wind, bumping the potency up to 800. You also get Melee Mastery 3 at that level, coming with a ton of potency updates. I mean, look at it. I'm not going to repeat all that.
Yeah.
At level 98, you get Enhanced Feint, increasing the debuff's duration to 15 seconds. As for the new stuff, it's mostly bonus attacks during big buffs, accoutrements to Enshroud, if you will. At level 92, you get Enhanced Enshroud, causing Enshroud to grant Oblatio for 30 seconds. This changes your Gluttony button into Sacrificium.
That's that attack right there.
500 potency AoE.
Okay, it has drop off though.
Off global with a 50%.
So basically a follow-up to Gluttony.
It must be used before the end of your Enshrouded effect. So weave it during one of the off globals you aren't using Lemure Slice on.
Oh, that's fantastic. So basically in your Enshroud window, you use your 2 GCDs, and then you use the OGCD, and then you use 2 more GCDs, then OGCD, and then a GCD. And this one, you can now weave that in one of the windows where you don't have a OGCD, which is nice.
At level 96, Reaper gets Enhanced Gluttony. This causes Gluttony to provide the Executioner buff for 30 seconds. This transforms Gibbet, Gallows, and Guillotine into Executioner variants. New animation, more damage, but same skills you know and love today. Finally, at level 100, Reaper gets Enhanced Plentiful Harvest. This causes the attack to grant you Perfectio Occulta for 30 seconds. Now on its own, this buff does nothing, but if you use Communio while under the effect of Perfectio Occulta, it changes to Perfectio Parada. This changes your Communio button into Perfectio, a 1200 potency AoE GCD with a 60% fall off. It must be executed before re-entering Enshroud or it will be lost. So ideally, you use it right after Communio, especially if you plan on enshrouding multiple times back to back. And that's all there is to Reaper. I'll admit I'm not a huge fan of Shadow of Death being pretty much the same, but it's not that big of a deal. For the most part, your Enshrouded windows just got a slight bit busier, especially during Burst. And
which is fine.
Engage in cooldown reduction on Enhanced Harp after egress and ingress.
Okay.
Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to my overview on all of the...
So, yeah. Looks like Reaper didn't get a lot of changes, which is fine. To be honest, Reaper's actually in a really good spot, rotation-wise. All they did was make the Enshroud window slightly busier, which is fine.
The opportunity to try the expansion out early, and that includes checking out all skills, abilities, potencies, whatever. Samurai is mostly similar to before. It has gotten some notable changes level 90 and under. Most importantly, Tsubame Geishi is now only usable after using Mekkyo Shisui, which provides the Tsubame Geishi ready buff for 30 seconds.
Cannot be used to repeat Higanbana. Thank you! Thank you!
This eliminates one element of the samurai cooldown management, so consider it quality of life. They also removed the ability to use Tsubamageshi on Higanbana, which was pretty fair because most everyone I know says never to do it. They also gave an up.
Alright. So under the EI Jutsu, which is from using your getting your 3 stickers, you have your AoE, your single target, and your dot. Higanbana is the dot. There is no reason to use a buffed up copy of your Higanbana. There's no reason. Like, yes, it makes the dot hit harder, but you do a lot more damage using it on the AoE or the single target high potency skill than you would on the dot. Nobody uses Sugamabashi on frickin' Higanbana. So removing it is just a quality of life change and doesn't confuse new players. Fantastic change.
There's no longer 2 different ones. Instead, Shoha itself is just a line.
Oh, thank you, God! This reduces button bloat. They're doing the reduction of button bloat. Oh, thank God. Okay, so to explain, there is right now Shoha 1, Shoha 2. Shoha 1, single target. Shoha 2, AoE. It makes sense to just straight up make it a single ability. But basically, you can either use an EI Jutsu, the meditation skill, or Okinami Kiri to get 3 stacks of meditation. And then you use those 3 stacks of meditation on this skill. So basically, you get 3 sets of stickers, and then you can pop this baby. Usually you would save this for part of your burst window, but yeah.
And AoE now. This addresses the common complaint from Endwalker of button bloat with Shoha 1 and 2. Finally,
Yeah!
90 and under changes, Third Eye got a skill upgrade. At level 82, Third Eye now becomes Tengetsu. It still provides the gauge upon being...
Oh! A 500 potency self-heal. And it increases Kenki gauge when you get hit. Ooh la la. This is fantastic. To explain this, actually, this is kind of giving Third Eye back the follow-up cure heal. So back when Third Eye Blind came out, or Third Eye came out, you could either use, it would give you like access to either a counterattack or a self-heal. They took both of those out to reduce button bloat. So, but not instant heal. It's an 8-second wait. Well, yeah, but generally speaking, unless it's something that is a multi-hit, this is still fantastic because now you have a 10% damage reduction for AoE for a heal, and now your healers don't have to heal as hard right after a raid wide.
Being hit, but now also grants Tengetsu's Foresight for 8 seconds. This will heal the samurai when the buff expires, so it acts like a delayed heal. It's sort of bringing back Merciful Eyes in some capacity, but it's on a timer and not like a separate button.
Ha! Merciful Eye was the skill I was talking about that restored HP. Damn, I'm good. Okay, yeah, but I mean, to be fair, Third Eye is never really good, was never really good for an oh shit button. It was more of a, let's reduce a raid wide or a hit that's gonna hit me. Your oh shit button as a DPS is just always gonna be Second Wind. That's it.
Now for post-90s stuff, first are some standardist things across all of the melee. At level 94, you get enhanced Second Wind, bumping the potency of that up to 800.
And especially now that the potency's 800 instead of like 300, that's actually going to be a better oh shit button for right after a raid wide. And then of course you've got freaking what? I forget what it's called now, but the blood whatever that you can use to get a slight heal back from every time you hit the enemy. So basically, it's kind of more of the raid wide hits you. You pop this to take reduced damage from the hit, and then you can pop second wind, and whatever second wind doesn't heal, the 10 sen one will heal. It's also nice to slightly lower how much healing a healer has to do, because now they don't have to fill to top you off. They could get you like 2/3, and the skill will pop off and do like a almost like X cognition type heal.
Level coming with a ton of potency updates. Then at level 98, you get Enhanced Feint, which increases the debuff's duration to 50. There's a bunch of transform skills and some new follow-up attacks. At level 92, you get Hakaze Mastery, transforming your most basic GCD into Gyofu. It's just nice to have a new animation and some more damage after all these years. At level 94, you get Enhanced Hisatsu, which reduces the cooldown on Sene and Gurren.
Whoa! Oh, that's fantastic. These are currently at, I think, 120 seconds? So these are wooga. We can actually use those more often now. That's nice.
And it'll feel nice to get the extra use out of those in longer fights. At level 96, you get Enhanced Ikishoten 2, which causes the buff to grant Zanshin ready for 30 seconds upon use. This changes Ikishoten into Zanshin on your hotbar.
Ah. So you can increase your gauge, and then you can yoink that gauge right after. Okay. So now now you're pretty much going to spend Ikitosen on Zanshin.
A 900 potency off global that hits in a cone in front of you with a 60% fall off after the first target. It costs 50 gauge, so you'll basically be using Ikishoten on Zanshin. Another big OGCD to use during buffs. Finally, at level 100, you get Enhanced Mekkyo Shisui 2.
Tenka. Okay, so basically a special upgraded version. Oh.
This causes the skill to grant the Tendo buff for 30 seconds. This transforms your next either Tenka Goken or Midare Setsugeka into Tendo Goken or Tendo Setsugeka, buffing their potencies and giving them new animations.
Oh,
Tendo
okay.
also affects your Tsubame Geishi follow-ups, which will transform into Tendo Keishi equivalents to match the potencies of the Tendo buffed Sen skill.
Oh, that's
Basically,
cool.
You use these skills in the exact same way. They're just way stronger. So Samurai has mostly preserved what it was with a few simple updates. The bonus heal on Tengetsu screams deep dungeon to me, though its mid-fight use case is really good too. Heck, I think they just got tired of Samurai's early pulling bosses for the extra gauge, you know what I mean? Shoha being one button is great now, and it otherwise should feel like almost the same job. Every expansion this job gets more and more massive hits, and I get more and more jealous. So Samurai.
Oh.
Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to my overview on the Pictomancer job coming to.
Alright, this is gonna be a longer video again. Alright, but yeah. No, so like, I actually could see a fair bit of use in that, what they did with Third Eye. It's really nice, but I could see why you're like, it's not useful for an oh fuck button. And to be fair, I don't really think a DPS needs a oh fuck button, because if they're dying to something, 9 times out of 10, they are already 16 minutes. Yeah.
Final Fantasy XIV in Dawntrail. I was recently given the opportunity to try the expansion out early at the North American.
This one might be a little bit longer, and I may pause a fair bit on this one, just a fair warning, because I am actually very interested in Pictomancer. Like, I was interested in Viper, but Viper is very straightforward. Viper will probably take the place of Ninja as my, kind of close-up melee. But then again, I'm really interested to play Monk again now that they've done these changes. So you guys know, I main Dancer, Reaper, Warrior or Paladin, depending on how I'm feeling. And White Mage. So, and Summoner. Pictomancer will probably take the place of Summoner if they don't make Summoner's burst window a little more interesting, because it's kind of boring.
American Media Tour, And that, of course, includes checking out all the job changes. So be sure to take a look at all of the other videos when you're done with this one. There will be a link in the description.
Also, I really like the Splatoon-like effects.
Quick disclaimer, reminder that
potentially. I don't know that I would main it for raids, just simply because everyone and their fucking mother is going to be a Pictomancer for ranged. Honestly, I'll probably still main Dancer. Because I foresee that a lot of people will be playing Viper, a lot of people will play Pictomancer, and a lot of people will not play physical ranged. Because the thing with physical ranged is in raids, all the mechanics where things have to be baited or moved or all that extra shit, we do. And I'm okay with doing those, because I play a job that requires no brain cells whatsoever, and I am okay with that. Alright.
Dawntrail is still in development, and everything for Pictomancer and every other change in these videos is all still subject to change. Don't be surprised if it's a bit different come early access. Now, I actually released a video on Pictomancer after the last letter from the producer live. I mean, we got to see a bunch of its skills. We got to see it do an opener. So we just didn't have potencies. We didn't have all the accurate names. So we didn't know if we were seeing everything. If you've seen that video, then just
that
know,
LB3!
we were mostly right about everything there, minus the skill names, which some of them I just made up. But there's a few extra things that I need to add in here for things that we did.
That's the little thing that that Cryo painted. Oh, that's cool. That's our LB3. I like.
No. So Pictomancer has three main components to its job design: canvases, paint, and palette gauge. The latter two are directly intertwined, with canvases serving as the job's primary source of optimization and power in its kit.
Whoa.
Let's knock its filler spells out of the way real quick. Pictomancer has a 3-part paint combo, both a single target.
Okay. Oh! Oh my god! They have a melee style combo! Oh no. Oh no. I might be joining that train. I might be joining the hype train on that.
Equivalent. Each of these spells has a 1.5 second cast time, making slide casting on your basic filler spells simpler and giving plenty of time to weave things like Swift Cast, Sure Cast, Addle, and other job skills. You'll just be using these whenever you don't have anything else to do.
Oh, so it's like Red Mage, but if Red Mage had like actual combos instead of proc based.
One stack of white paint. This grants you access to an instant cast Holy in White spell. Great for movement, but not super high on potency.
Okay.
Since you can store up to 5 of these, they make for a very strong movement tool for prolonged boss mechanics that require constant movement.
Homina, homina!
5 palette gauge for every basic combo you finish.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? I like melee combos. This is the first caster that actually has like a melee style rotation. All the other casters are either proc based, or they recast the same button several times. This is the first one where it has a 3-hit combo that is like spells. Now, granted, Red Mage, has its 3-hit melee combo, but, you have to do your normal proc system first to get to it. Or use your buffs. This one just straight up has it built in. That is fantastic.
50 palette gauge can be used to activate Subtractive Palette, granting 3 stacks of Subtractive Palette and the Monochromatic Hues buff. Subtractive Palette stacks give you access to a stronger 3-part combo. These spells have a longer cast and recast time, so be careful about using them during movement phases. Finishing this combo will also grant you 1 white paint. Monochromatic Hues as a buff will convert 1 white paint into 1 black paint. If you have a white paint going into getting this buff, it will instantly convert it. But if you have no white paint, the buff will persist until you earn 1, meaning that you will convert the white paint you get from the Subtractive Palette combo itself. Basically, it appears as black paint instead. This black paint allows you to cast Comet in Black, a much stronger version of Holy in White, though with a slightly longer recast. You'll cap off every Subtractive Palette with 1 of these, at least giving you a bit of movement after all those longer casts you had before. You'll want to make use of this combo either during your burst windows or when movement requirements during mechanics are minimal. You can use this to enhance the potency of short burst phases like add phases, or just whenever the boss is standing still and you have leftover gauge. Optimal use of this during your filler should greatly improve your overall damage because the potency is a huge step up. With that, let's move over to your canvases. There are 3 different canvases in which you will paint 3 different motifs. A creature motif on the left, a weapon motif in the middle, and a landscape motif on the right.
Okay, yeah.
Drawing on these canvases has no cast time out of combat, but in combat they do take quite a bit of time to draw. Fortunately, they can be swift casted, and even when hard cast, offer enough time to weave a single other ability before your next GCD.
Okay.
The creature motif will cycle between 4 different parts of a creature. The first 2 are palm and wing motifs, and after compiling both of them...
Oh, that's depiction of Tom. Okay, that's depiction of wing. Also paints a Moogle portrait when depiction of paw and depiction of wings are rendered onto the canvas. Okay. I'm back. Welcome back. Render your Moogle portrait live dealing. Okay. So this is kind of, yeah, it's very similar.
AoE off global with Mog of the Ages. At level 96, you also get the claw and maw motifs, after which you can perform an...
Medine. How did I not recognize Medine? Medine's from 6. It's Terra's daddy.
AoE off global called Retribution of the Medine. You'll want to aim to have Medine for all burst phases minus the opener.
Although it doesn't quite look like the Medine from 6.
The actual spell you cast with the motif is called a Muse, and for the creature Muse, they have a cooldown of 40 seconds and a maximum of 3 charges that can be stored up. It looks like you'll use your 2 charges in the opener to build a Moogle, and 1 charge in between to prevent overcapping and set up Medine for your 2-minute buff.
Okay.
Your weapon motif will draw a hammer, upon which executing Hammer Muse will grant you access to a 3-part hammer combo, designated by a 3-stack hammer buff. This is still a ranged attack, and you have 30...
This is so strange. It's a caster, but it has melee-type rotations.
Every hit in the hammer combo is an instant cast GCD that always incurs a critical direct hit. You can also store up to 2 charges of the Hammer Muse. This is meant to work kind of like triple cast. You never want to overcap on these charges, but you can use them for movement or in your burst. This will be
I could
adds a lot of flexibility to your 2-minute buff window. You can technically swift cast to use a second draw hammer motif if you have a very long period of instant movement. And between that and Holy and White, you just have a ton of options for how to handle situations like that. Finally, you have your landscape motif. You'll draw this at some point every 2 minutes to activate your landscape Muse, giving you and your party a 5% damage buff and summoning a landscape that provides several benefits to the Pictomancer themselves. It gives you access to Star Prism, a massive AoE follow-up to the landscape Muse. It grants a subtractive spectrum buff to give you 1 free use of your subtractive palette. It grants inspiration to reduce cast and recast times of your Ether Hue spells, your fillers, and your black magic combo by 25%.
So basically it's a combination of Searing Light and ley lines.
Keep in mind this inspiration buff only works when you're actually standing inside the landscape, so you're going to want to be careful about where you place it and about when you're actually using your black magic combo.
But it's quite a bit larger than ley lines.
And 5 stacks,
so it's a little more forgiving. Interesting.
Which are consumed by your Ether Hue spells.
Okay.
Upon spending all 5 stacks of Hyper Fantasia, you gain Rainbow Bright, granting you 1 instant cast use of Rainbow Drip, while also reducing its recast time. Oh, Rainbow Drip is a line nuke with an incredibly long cast time normally. You'll use this as your opening spell as it instantly generates 1 white paint and has a high potency, but otherwise you'll just use it in your 2-minute buff window for that instant cast nuke. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention about Star Prism during all of this. It's actually also a 400 potency AoE heal, so you get a little bit of bonus healing during your buff window. As for your remaining utilities, Pictomancer has a personal shield called Tempera Coat. This gives the Pictomancer a 20% HP shield for 10 seconds once every 2 minutes.
Okay, so it's supposed to be along the lines of Summoner in terms of buffing plus defense.
Now, if you fail to break Tempera Coat, you'll actually have the option to reapply the shield before it wears off with Tempera Grassa. This can only be done while your initial shield is still active, and Grasa is only a 10% shield to boot. It also only reduces the cooldown of Tempera Coat by 30 seconds instead of 60. So ideally, you want to break the first shield for all the best benefits. But if you screwed up, you can do this second shield as well. Another thing to take note of is that if you take a hit with Tempera Coat and it doesn't break, you can then choose to reactivate Tempera Grasa to potentially get slightly more value out of the shield. I don't think you can do anything fancy like, I don't know, say, use Tempera Coat, time Tempera Grasa with when the hit comes out, and then get the shield from that. Maybe you can, and if you can, that would be pretty dope and would be a pretty high-level play, assuming that you could count as breaking both of the shields and get 90 seconds off. I think that's probably not going to happen, but I know you were all thinking it as well. Finally, Cryptomancer also has a movement ability called Smudge. This allows them to dash in the direction that they are facing and gives them a short movement speed.
They gave a caster on Avant.
Fairly confident was going to be the right one. And that opener, I think, was mostly correct. There's a reason why Yoshi P did that exact order of spells. But I said we needed to learn a couple of things before I could 100% say that that was the opener. Number
Okay, he's gonna talk about the opener. I'm gonna skip that. I do think this job is gonna be on par with Summoner. It's gonna give Summoner some competition, which is not gonna be fun for me wanting to play. Alright, here we go.
Mr. Happy.
We're gonna move to Summoner. Let's see if I fucking rage or not.
Here, welcome to my overview on all of the Summoner updates coming to Final Fantasy XIV in Dawntrail. I was recently given the opportunity to try the expansion out early at the North Process. Now, Summoner is almost entirely the same job as an Endwalker, for better or worse. The only notable change to your existing skills before level 90 is that Searing Light is now a 5% damage buff instead of 3, but only lasts 20 seconds instead of 30. After level 90,
so it's online with everything else now.
Existing skills and a few important new skills to slot right into what you were already doing. Some of these are going to be the same across the different casters as well. You'll get Enhanced Swift Cast at level 94, lowering its cooldown to 40%. Arcane Mastery at the same level, buffing a ton of the Summoner's potencies across the board. I don't even want to go through all of those. Finally, you get Enhanced Addle at level 98, increasing the duration of the debuff to 15 seconds. Summoner then gets some upgrades to its existing skills that'll not feel much different to what you're doing now. At level 92, for example, you get Enhanced Fester, simply changing the skill to Necrotize and increasing its potency by a fair amount. At level 96, you get Enhanced Searing Wind. This causes the skill to grant the Ruby's Glimmer buff for 30 seconds, causing the skill to change into Searing Flash until it's used. This is simply a 600 potency AoE off global, which you'll be looking to throw into your buff windows for another big hit. And then at level 100, you do get a couple of new things. First up is Summon Solar Bahamut. This will replace every other Dreadworm or Firebird trance and summon respectively, ideally always lining up with your 2-minute buff window. It's nearly identical to the others as well, coming with its own Astral Flow, Enkindle, and even a new special move. When summoning Solar Bahamut, you'll also enter Lightworm Trance, changing Ruin 3 and Tri-Disaster into Umbral Impulse and Umbral Flare respectively. Umbral Impulse is notably a few potencies shy of Fountain of Fire from Firebird Trance, but to make up for it, all of Solar Bahamut's other attacks are much more powerful, including his generic auto attack, Lux Wave, which in this build was 33% stronger than both Bahamut and Phoenix's auto attacks.
Makes sense.
Astral Flow is Sun Flare, which just nukes the opponent for a 700 potency AoE with a 60% fall off. Your Enkindle is Exodus, a 1600 potency AoE with a 60% fall off. And finally, upon entering Lightworm Trance, you also gain the buff Refulgent Lux for 30 seconds, granting access to a new skill, Lux Solaris. This ability is a 500 potency AoE heal on a 60-second cooldown.
That's disgusting.
Doesn't really matter because you'll only be using this once every Solar Bahamut, which is once every 2 minutes. So stick with that as you will. Its radius is only 15 yalms, but since it doesn't deal any damage, you can freely use it anytime in that 30-second buff window. And that's it, Summoners. I know a lot of people were hoping for the job to develop a bit more with its involvement with these changes, But for anyone largely enamored with the summoner job fantasy, it'll be down to how you feel about Solar Bahamut. I'm definitely...
I don't terribly care either way about the Solar Bahamut, but the fact that we're only getting one extra OGCD in a window where you have like what 5 to 6 GCDs depending on or global cooldowns, and you can only enter weave for 3 of them now. Well, 4 of them now. So I still feel like it needs a little more off global cooldowns to weave into the buff window. Like the gems with Titan, Garuda, and Ifrit are fine. Like, I don't think that rotation needs any changes whatsoever, except maybe like some visual upscales later on, or maybe an Iggy Glamour system where you could upgrade them to like Shiva or other idol or other primals. But the burst window still feels a little bit empty even with that. So that's kind of a little sad, but
amongst endgame raiders and endwalker, and since it kept its raise, I'm sure we'll be seeing plenty of people pick up their book again this expansion.
Yeah, a little bit disappointing on that, but that, you know,
hey
they gave us one new one, so there's at least that. I'll take what I can get.
In Dawntrail, I was recently given the opportunity to try to find them easily. Just a disclaimer though, reminder that Dawntrail is still in development, and everything you see here, potencies, abilities, whatever, it's all subject to change.
Oh, let me
don't be surprised
put this in
changes
full
from early
mode.
access. Now Red Mage is nearly...
Maybe they'll make more changes in 7.1 or 7.2? No, if they're gonna add new OGCD skills, they're gonna do it in 8.0. It's not gonna be this expansion. Usually with patches, after initial expansion release, it's always like potency increases or decreases. They don't normally do entire skill overhauls. Paladin was a rare exception because nobody wanted to play Paladin with the way it was at. But there's enough of like people who play Summoner regardless, considering it's still a fairly easy job to pick up and everything, that I don't think they'll make any changes like that until 8.0. But there is a chance with 8.0.
To its Endwalker version, but with some quality of life and small additions. It does get some nice pre-90 changes as well.
Oh, looks like Jolt's like a Jolt 3 now.
Jolt 2 is now upgraded to Jolt 3 at level 8. Just
instantly, I knew.
With more potency and a fancy new animation. Its other 2 pre-90 changes are much more significant. Manification no longer grants 50 black and white mana. Instead, it grants 3 stacks of magic swordplay.
Yeah, it just adds it without cost.
Of your enchanted sword skills. Basically, it's a free melee combo, whether it be single target or AoE, and will prevent mana overcapping when the skill is used. Speaking of melee combo, the enchanted Moulinet skill has also been updated. It is now a 3-part combo, going from Moulinet into Moulinet 2 into Moulinet 3. The potency gradually scales up with each hit, only going up by 10.
Oh, okay, so it's all on the same button.
Most importantly, though, this combo string is now only 50 black and white mana. Finally in line with the...
Okay, that's fantastic. So, the actual AoE combo was 60-60 instead of 50-50 for what you needed. And now Moulinet actually feels like a full combo instead of pressing the same button 3 times. So that's actually really good AoE. Quality of life, sorry.
Far too long. After level 90, they get some pretty standard changes that are shared with the other casters. Enhanced Swift Cast at level 94 lowers its cooldown to 40 seconds, down from 60. You also get Enchanted Blade Mastery at the same level, buffing almost every Red Mage spell minus their AoEs, not just the Enchanted Sword combo despite the trait name. Finally, you get Enhanced Addle at level 98, increasing the duration of the debuff to 15 seconds. Their new abilities after level 90 mostly add off globals to their buff windows and some movement quality of life. At level 92, they get Enhanced Embolden, granting the Thorned Flourish buff when using Embolden for 30 seconds. This changes the button into Vice of Thorns, a 520 potency AoE off global with a 60% fall off. Simple enough, you'll throw that into burst windows most of the time. At level 96, you get Enhanced Acceleration 2, which causes the ability to grant the buff Grand Impact Ready for 30 seconds. This transforms both Jolt 3 and Impact into Grand Impact, an instant AoE that deals 540 potency with a 60% fall off. It also generates 3 mana, making it a 1-point mana gain over Jolt in particular. It more importantly allows acceleration to grant 2 spells of instant movement instead of 1, since you still do get its original effect. This also gives you more potency and should just make your life easier. Finally,
well, yeah, not just that, but it also gives 2 instacasts, which means more movement, which is fantastic.
You get Enhanced Manification 3. Upon spending all 6 stacks of the Manification buff, you'll be granted Cineration Ready. This changes Manification into Cineration, a 620 potency off-global AoE with a 60% fall off. Yet another off-global to add into your buff window right after you finish that 6-part melee and spell combo. So all in all, Red Mage got some added mobility, quality of life on mana management, and some bonus off-globals during burst. This preserves the job for the people who like it and gives them a bit more to do during their burst windows that they were already familiar with. These should feel really nice to enthusiasts, and not just at the highest experience level, for people at all experience levels with the job.
Yeah, it looks like they've made Red Mage a little bit less a little bit more movement friendly, closer to Summoner, since Pictomancer's probably be closer to Black Mage in terms of mobility. So that's actually pretty good. Here we go. I've been curious about what they did with with Black Mage.
At all levels. It may look very similar on the surface, but seasoned players will recognize the more nuanced effects of many of the changes. Let's
Thunder. Ooh.
As soon as you log in for Dawntrail. First, the way Black Mages regenerate MP has completely changed. Instead of Umbral Ice restoring MP every few seconds on the server tick, you now generate MP upon landing an Ice spell while under the effect of Umbral Ice. At Umbral Ice 1 and 2, you only generate 5,000 MP or 2,500 at the really early levels. But at
Wait, I want you to see something here.
Umbral Ice 3, you generate the whole 10,000 MP. So 1 Blizzard 4 will mean you're good in most scenarios, but Transpose might be a little rougher around the edges if you need to use it for just a panic swap. As such, Umbral Soul now grants
Oh shit! Oh shit!
to MP in the same fashion for downtime phases. Every time you use it, you'll get a chunk of MP back. However, it only gives 2,500 MP at Umbral Ice 1, 5,000 at 2, and 10,000 at 3. Fortunately, it raises your Umbral Ice level with each use, and odds are you'd want to use it 3 times during most downtime scenarios.
Yeah, that's true.
The hearts. Speaking of Umbral Soul, Despair will actually become Umbral Soul on your hotbar now as well, unless of course you want to separate the two for muscle memory or whatnot. Fire 4 and Blizzard 4 will also do this.
Wait, what?
Most downtime scenarios as is.
1 second.
Speaking
what
of
button
Umbral
became?
Soul, Despair will actually become Umbral Soul on your hotbar now as well, unless of course you want to separate the two for muscle memory or whatnot.
Why would Despair become Umbral? Man, I just barely learned to play Black Mage. I gotta relearn how to play it all over again. Okay, so you don't really have to relearn Black Mage that much. The only difference now is instead of like, you know, Blizzard 3, you get a couple of ticks and your MP gets maxed out. Now, when you swap over to Blizzard, the second you land Blizzard 4, because it's no longer going to cost MP, you're going to get all your MP back in one go. Basically, it makes it friendlier to do your Blizzard, your Ice window. Because normally you would do Blizzard 3, Blizzard 4, Thunder 3 or 4, depending on which one you need, and then your Xenoglossies, or you could do Xenoglossies before Blizzard 4. Now you're probably going to want to just straight go into Blizzard 4 first, then your Thunder if it's low on time. If it's still got some time left on the Thunder buff, I would say it would actually use Xenoglossie first, or foul, depending on if it's AoE situation. And then once you've used that up, then you just you use your Paradox, which is takes the place of your Blizzard 1 or Fire 1 button. Not Paradox. No, it is Paradox. And then you would go into Fire 3, your Fire 4 combo, your Paradox, your Fire 4 combo. I don't think the rotation changes much. It's just that you'll want to use Xenoglossy after Blizzard 4 so you can have your MP back.
Fire 4 and Blizzard 4 will also do the same thing, so they also don't need to be separate buttons on your hotbar anymore.
Oh! Oh, shit! So basically, Blizzard 4 and Fire 4 are the same fucking button. You don't need to have them separate.
The Thundercloud trait has been completely removed. In its place, you now gain the Thunderhead buff for 30 seconds.
Huh? Oh no. What the fuck did they do with Thunder?
Anytime you initially enter Astral Fire or Umbral Ice, or whenever you swap between the two. Thunder spells require Thunderhead to cast, meaning that all your Thunder spells are now instant cast and they're all based on these Thunderhead procs. Their potencies have been adjusted accordingly.
Oh no. That's great, since you can't use fire while under Umbral Ice and vice versa, so cutting down buttons there is nice. Yeah. Oh no. Oh no. There are gonna be some very unhappy black mages. Okay, so to explain this. Currently, the way Thunder works is you get a proc. That's random based on the tick. That if your Thunder spell crits, you can instantly cast a Thunder spell. As long as you have that little buff that pops up. It's a little proc. A lot of black mages use this for movement, and in Shadowbringers, it was the difference between a very high amount of damage and medium damage, because you could use movement to move out of shit and still keep your rotation going. So that is going to be very interesting, because now they're reducing a little bit of mobility for black mage, because you could throw that as a quick instant spell and move. So that's going to be really interesting. I want to hear what Sophia says, or other black mage mains. That's going to be curious. Ooh.
There's no longer that really low amount of initial damage and then the huge burst of damage whenever you get a proc. They just have flat values that you'll always be experiencing every time you cast them. This ensures an instant cast Thunder very often in your rotation, and you'll no longer be hard casting them at all. Paradoxes also had several updates. For one, it's now only available upon any...
Wait. Yeah, 3 Ember Hearts and swapping is made inactive when the effect of Astral Fire expires. Fire becomes Paradox when the Paradox marker is made active. Okay. Okay, so Paradox is only going to be during your fire now. What about Fire 3 proc? Let's see. I think they may have changed that. No. You want to know what's not on here? They took away Sharpcast. They took out Sharpcast. They tweaked up the rotation and took out the Sharpcast button now. So you won't be using it to guarantee a Fire 3 or a Thundercloud proc. Interesting. Now, what did they replace that with? That's what I'm curious about.
Entering Astral Fire while under the effect of Umbral Ice 3 and having 3 Umbral Hearts. So there's no more Ice Paradox at all. However, the Fire Paradox is now instant cast and also automatically procs Firestarter without needing a sharp cast.
Okay, so there's your answer. Paradox will automatically give Firestarter. They still have the Firestarter proc. But now without Sharpcast, it's guaranteed from Paradox. Ooh, okay. Okay, I see what you're cooking, SC. I see what you're cooking.
A random proc. Now, speaking of Sharpcast, it's gone. Kind of excessive when most of the proc systems are gone as well, though Firestarter does still exist at the lower levels with that 40% fire proc chance. Finally, Mana Font has had a ton of effects added.
Oh, but what about Fire 2? Does that still have a chance to grant Fire 3? Okay. So, Fire 1. Yes, it still does at lower levels. But at level 90, it gets replaced. No, it's not 90. It's sooner than that because Amplifier is level 90 skill, I'm pretty sure. But, basically, Fire 1 will still grant a 40% chance of Fire 3 to grant a Fire 3 proc. But it will be replaced with Paradox, and Paradox will guarantee 100% you get a Fire 3 proc. So you'll still get to refresh your Fire 3 before your Fire 4s end at the towards the end of your fire rotation. Now, here's the interesting fact. Grants Astral Fire 3, grants Thunderhead, grants 3 Umbral Hearts, grants Paradox, can only be executed under the effect of Astral Fire. That Fire 3 proc is so useful. It is. Well, when you hit 90, it's actually a part of your rotation anyways. Because, the way the normal rotation is, you do 3 to 4, Fire Force, depending on if you've triple cast and ley lines and whatnot. Then you do Paradox. Then you would do the rest of your Fire Force. Then you would Mana Ward and or Mana Font, and then you would do more. So what this now does is normally it restores a percentage. This is a full MP restore. Essentially, they have now doubled your fire rotation during every 2-minute windows. So you can go into fire, you activate this, and then you start from the beginning again. So now, it looks like it's going to be closer to 9 to 12 Fire Force in your opening window.
To it. It now grants the full 10,000 MP upon use, instantly grants the Thunderhead proc.
I want to hear his thoughts on that, because I feel like that's where it's going.
Umbral Hearts. It's basically a full reset for Astral Fire, allowing you to do your full fire rotation a second time. So all of that is super important, and that's before even factoring in the post-90 changes. Like the other casters, it gets enhanced Swift Cast at level 94, reducing the ability's cooldown to 40 seconds, as well as enhanced Addle, which extends the debuff's duration to 15 seconds. It also gets some more Black Mage exclusive traits, enhanced Enochian 4 at level 96, increases Enochian's damage bonus to 30%, and enhanced Polyglot 2 at 98 provides a third stack of Polyglot.
Yeah, which makes Ice a little bit longer too.
Damn, that's a lot of Polyglot. Now for brand new skills above level 90, first you'll start with Thunder Mastery 3 at level 92. This will simply update your Thunder spells into High Thunder for single target and High Thunder 2 for AoE. They otherwise function exactly the same, or at least in line with the Thunderhead changes that I mentioned earlier. At level 96, Black Mages learn Enhanced Ley Lines. This will cause the Ley Lines button to change after it is activated into Retrace. Retrace allows you to move your ley lines to your current location.
Yeah, this is the biggest quality of life change here.
Up a whole lot more movement tech, or at the very least, makes it that if you need to move during a mechanic during your 2-minute window, you can at least at some point bring your ley lines with you. Really curious.
Yeah, that is nicer because it'll now be in line with the AoE rotation and not feel as awkward. the ley lines getting to move is also fantastic for openers and such, and I think it's meant to kind of be an apology for losing the thunder proc, since a lot of people would hold it and use it as needed for movement.
You can only use it once per ley line, so don't misuse it. Finally,
oh, you can only use it once.
You get enhanced astral fire. This causes Fire 4 and Flare to grant a new buff, Astral Soul. Fire 4 grants 1 stack of Astral Soul, and Flare grants 3.
Yeah, so your normal rotation would be 6, your normal rotation will be 6 Fire 4s. So, 3 Fire 4s, Paradox, 3 Fire 4s, throw your, Fire Starter proc, do Despair, and then you'll use this.
6 stacks, you'll be given the ability to cast Flare Star. This is a 350 potency fire AoE with a 60% fall off. Now remember,
yeah, notice you Despair and then this.
That number is amplified by Astral Fire. It's actually 10 potency higher than Despair on that first target hit, with the same cast time as well. So you'll be casting this at the end of all of your fire phases. These Black Mage changes are going to be a bit of a divisive discussion amongst players until we see what the long-reaching results of these changes will be. Many were already upset at the loss of the mana tick for Umbral Ice from the live letter, because it meant that certain high-level tech would no longer be possible. However, Black Mage has always been a highly skill-expressive job, and its players are quite big-brained. So I'm curious to see what a full-time veteran Black Mage player is able to
yeah, I want once per line. Those don't last so long, so it's not a big deal. That big a deal. Yeah. No, and it makes sense because you're placing it. I do like the reference to 11 though with Retrace. Nice job.
Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to my overview.
So yeah, I think it's gonna be interesting seeing how Black Mage handles not having the Thundercloud proc for movement. I do think the ability to move ley lines to you is a little bit of a nice kind of compromise. Also, this is blindingly move this.
Coming to 14, check out subject tools. Pre-level 90, there are a few updates to note.
Okay.
Heat Blast now upgrades to Blazing Shot at level 68, increasing the potency and updating the animation.
That's
upgrades to Blazing Shot at level
Heat Blast reduces the cast time of Double Check and Checkmate by 15 seconds.
68, increasing the potency and updating the animation. You'll also notice an update to Barrel Stabilizer. It no longer grants 50 heat, instead granting the hypercharged buff for 30 seconds. This simply lets you activate hypercharge for free one time. Considering the buff lasts 30 seconds, this should make managing heat ahead of your burst window much easier.
Yeah.
Post level 90, there are a few changes that are standard across all the Fizz ranged in Dawntrail. At level 94, you get Enhanced Second Wind, increasing the potency of it to 800. Bigger personal heal, basically. Marksman Mastery 2 at the same level increases the
some potency buffs. Tactician's damage reduction is increased to 15%. And I think
to 15%.
Yeah.
As for new skills, it's entirely updates to existing ones and buttons transforming into new buttons. At level 92, you get Double Barrel Mastery. This upgrades Gauss Round and Ricochet into Double Check and Checkmate, respectively. Higher potencies and a new animation, but the same function. At level 94, you get Enhanced Multi-Weapon, which gives you
more drill and bioblaster. So now you're gonna have more drills to try and crank into wild
drill and bioblaster. This will help with cooldown management and also grant you another big hit during buffs. Enhanced Multi-Weapon 2 comes at level 98, causing Chainsaw to grant you Excavator.
So basically with the drill, it's going to be cramming more drills into your fire window. Yeah, they definitely condensed the buttons for all the classes. Yep, they did turn, and even better is those buttons that turn into other buttons. There's supposed to be a setting to where if you don't want them to turn into that and you want to have that as separate buttons, you can add that as an option, which is fantastic.
Ready for 30 seconds. This buff changes Chainsaw into Excavator, a 700 potency AoE around the target with a 50% fall off. Excavator also grants 20 battery gauge, just like Chainsaw. Now these combined multi-weapon changes are quite important. This now gives you 5 tools to use in
I'm
your
gonna grab a drink.
between
One
the
second.
2 drills, air anchor, chainsaw, and excavator. So your basic heated combo basically doesn't even need to be there. That's not to say that experienced machinists won't find a way to incorporate a GCD or so, but at the very least that seems to be the intent. You'll also get
Whoa, let me rehear that.
a 700 potency AoE around the target with a 50% fall off. Excavator also grants 20 battery gauge, just like Chainsaw. Now these combined multi-weapon changes are quite important. This now gives you 5 tools to use in your burst windows between the 2 drills, air anchor, chainsaw, and excavator. So your basic heated combo basically doesn't even need to be there. That's not to say that experienced machinists won't find a way to incorporate a GCD or so, but at the very least that seems to be the intent. You'll also get 60 battery from the combo of air anchor, chainsaw, and excavator every time, ensuring an easy queen activation during your opener and reopeners. It does also slightly improve their AoE thanks to excavator being an AoE.
That's nice because you really couldn't activate queen during your opener. It was mostly reopeners. So like Dragoon, they're mainstreaming that to add to your damage. Nice, nice.
Finally, at level 100, you get Enhanced Barrel Stabilizer, causing the buff to also grant the Full Metal Machinist buff.
Full Metal Machinist.
This changes the button into Full Metal Field, a GCD skill that delivers a 700 potency critical direct hit in an AoE around the target with a 50% fall off. Another big skill to hit during 2s, and another bit of AoE added in. So Machinists definitely got some cool stuff added to their buffs, and that second multi-weapon charge helps a lot with their buff management, especially in the case that you maybe miss accidentally.
That's interesting. Wildfire's gonna be really different because now you're gonna want to cram all that stuff in there instead of your heat gauge stuff.
One GCD or something like that.
So
However,
can't wait to see how that changes the opener.
Was how divided the job feels between its single target and AoE rotations, and those still seem to be entirely separate. Auto crossbow doesn't lower the double check or checkmate cooldowns, bioblaster and flamethrower are still functioning the same, and the entire battery gauge mechanic has no AoE associated with it at all. The only AoE you get is the damage from excavator, which happens to give you 20 battery. I'm kind of disappointed with how disjointed the job's design continues to be, especially when, over the last several expansions, most other jobs have seemingly gotten much more cohesion baked between their single target and AoE rotations. Now, so long as fight design doesn't deviate too much towards the progressive use of bouncing between single target and AoE, it should be fine. Machinist has really shown its strong points since getting Dismantle and Endwalker, and we've seen a lot more of them. It doesn't really solve the whole latency-related problems that people have talked about for ages and ages.
Yeah. Alright. So that's kind of interesting. But
hey everyone, Mr.
It doesn't feel like a lot's changed, just that the wildfire burst may have changed.
Here, and welcome to my overview on all of the Bard updates coming to 14 and in the description. And for the expansion, the big one is that songs no longer require a target, simply providing the song buff when you press them.
This, the one quality of life I really, really wanted. I kid you not. Like, the fact that you had to target enemies to activate your songs made it so annoying. Also, there were certain fights. Yeah, I know, right, Yasu? It's huge! Okay, so the way songs currently work, Lair, you have to target an enemy and hit the enemy with the song in order to activate it. So there were certain fights. For instance, the third fight in the first tier of current in-game raids has a point where the big boss goes away and some ads spawn, and then there's downtime in between ads spawning. And because of that, your songs got out of order and fucked you for a reopener right after the ads phase end. Because you couldn't activate the songs. So you could do this to keep the songs on track, which is fantastic. It's really a quality of life change. There are several fights like that where there's downtime and you can't activate a song to keep the songs running, to keep them in the right order and lined up with reopeners and openers and such. It was such a pain in the ass. This is fantastic.
Do require combat to use those, so no triple stacking codas and waiting 2 minutes for your opener. Don't worry.
I mean, no, that makes sense. I'm okay with them not doing that. But for downtime during fights, this is fantastic.
Next up, Shadow Bite Ready and Straight Shot Ready have been combined into a single buff called Hawk's Eye. Nice to see that return, as that is an old buff from the olden days.
Yeah, Hawk's Eye coming back, hell yeah. Hawk's Eye was basically like a 15% damage increase or something like that. It increased your dexterity by like 15% or some shit like that. It was in ARR. They removed it in like Heavensward, I think. Heavensward or Stormblood. But it was an extra buff that Bard had. Yeah.
It basically acts as the two effects combined, so you can freely use Shadow Bite or Refulgent Arrow anytime you receive the buff.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. So you can alternate between AoE and single target very easily with procs. That's a good change.
Single target and AoE rotations. Now, obviously, this still applies at the early level when you still have Straight Shot, but they have added an earlier level version of Shadow Bite. At the low...
Wait, Yasu, you're a ninja main, right? How do you feel right now? After the videos about the new ninja rotation? I know, right? AoE trick is like fantastic. Now you have a reason to use trick attack when dealing with trash mobs and ad phases. It's fantastic. I love it. It looks way better. No more keeping up the haste buff. Yeah. I'm curious to see how the rotation of ninjutsu changes though. Like, are we gonna keep the same rotation, just that the wind is going to be a buff? Are we gonna want to actually prioritize that over Ice Shuriken during Kisatsu? That's kind of like where I want to see a little more theory crafting from a ninja main. I'm probably gonna look at Lamata's video. I don't know that I'll do it on stream, as I feel like I do want to look it up. The wind ninjutsu is made for more dungeon packs. Oh, okay, so it's probably gonna... Okay, so your AoE rotation will change up a bit. So it'll be earth, wind, and AoE Suiton. Oh, okay. Okay, so you just won't use Suiton in AoE situations. Okay. That's what I was curious about, cuz that's fantastic.
Levels, it will downgrade into Wide Volley, marking the somewhat temporary return.
Bruh! Wide Volley! That shit hasn't been around since Heavensward! Wide Volley, for those of you who don't know, was an attack that you jump in the air and release a volley of arrows. It was one of my favorite animations, and they took it out. It actually used to combo. Back in, AR Heavensword days, Bard actually had a combo normal AoE. So you had Wide Volley, and, oh god, what was the normal one? Thought you said you don't like Bard. I don't, but this is giving me some ARR nostalgia, man.
Of one of my favorite skills also.
Okay, to be fair, why I don't like Bard is I don't like currently how the songs work, because having to target an enemy makes it very annoying when trying to keep songs lined up during downtime and such. This fix actually makes me like Bard a lot more, because I used to actually like Bard in ARR. Didn't like it in Heavensward because it was essentially a bow casting. Because you had to add a buff onto yourself that turned all of your normal attacks into cast bars. That was annoying. And then Stormblood was nice. And then Shadowbringers took out some things I liked. And then Endwalker was like, fuck it, you target everything if you want to use a song. And now Dawntrail's like, let me bring back the bards you actually like.
From the olden days. Battle Voices also had its duration increased from 15 seconds to 20 seconds, but otherwise...
Okay, that makes sense, because now that'll last as long as the entire burst window.
Finally, Pitch Perfect has been made into an AoE with a 50% fall off after the...
This I knew about, and this is actually fantastic too, because now Wanderer's Minuet is actually really good for dungeon runs. Like now, because currently I think you actually have this Mage's Ballad, then Wonders, then Armies Payon or something like that. I think you have a different rotation when you do dungeons and AoE content in comparison to single target. So this is actually a fantastic change. I like this.
First target. It's a nice little change for AoE during Wanderers, which I always...
But yes, I am getting hyped for this because a lot of my complaints about Bard are being fixed.
There are a few changes that are standard across all Fizz ranged in Dawntrail. At level 90...
Skimming through this, wait. Oh, okay, so they're just increasing Fulgent Arrow and Burst Shot? Makes sense. Oh, wait.
They get Bloodletter Mastery, changing Bloodletter into Heartbreak Shot. This is a fancy new animation and deals more damage, but otherwise functions entirely the same.
I mean, to be fair, Bloodletter kind of needed a visual overhaul.
At level
so that's
96,
good.
They get Enhanced Barrage. This grants the buff Resonant Arrow Ready for 30 seconds, changing the Barrage button into Resonant Arrow. This is a 600 potency AoE GCD with a 50% fall off. It's just another thing to reduce the number of burst shots you're going to use in the buff window. But don't worry.
Yeah, this...
Barrage is still going to be used over on Refulgent since Resonant Arrow is not single target, and Barrage does still specify that. Finally, at level 100, you get Enhanced Radiant Finale. Upon activating Radiant Finale, you now gain the Radiant Encore Ready.
Oh, that's the little finisher tech.
Radiant Finale to transform into Radiant Encore.
Okay, delivers attack target all enemies near it. Potency if you have all three codas 700. So, I mean, for openers, you're only gonna have it for 400 coda because you'll only have the one sticker. But every reopener, you'll have three. You'll have three, so it'll be 700 potency after the initial. Not bad, not bad. I still wish they would add a button that gives you all three stickers to line up with everybody else getting really good buffs at their opener. But beggars can't be choosers. They did a lot of good quality of life changes with this job and actually make me want to try this job again.
An AoE GCD that
which is something I never thought I would say. I thought I would always be like, Bard, ew.
1 coda is 400 potency, 2 is 500, and 3 is 700. This potency has a 50% AoE fall off after the first target as well. Again, it's another non-burst shot GCD for your openers and reopeners.
Yeah.
All in all, Bard kept its Endwalker identity in place and got some small quality of life and new GCD updates to use during burst. The potency upgrade...
A pity they didn't update the Blood Rain or whatever it's called, the AoE version of Bloodletter, but we'll get that next expansion.
Songs, though I'm curious to see if it's enough to keep up with some of the other new tools that the other Fizz range got. I'm pretty impressed with Dancer in particular, and Bard just feels like a few things. But again, we have to really see how...
Hamina, he's impressed with Dancer. Let's go, let's go, let's go! I will come back to Dark Knight, but I want Dancer next.
Works in practice. I do think that keeping the rigidity of the songs in place is a bit of an oversight, making deaths and deliberately misaligned burst windows feel incredibly awkward. But we'll see how it fares with the fight design in Dawntrail, because that's really what it ends up being all about.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's gonna...
Yeah. But the thing is, now that it's not enemy targeted, we can brute force the rigidity. Which ones have I already watched? I've already watched Viper, Dragoon, Monk, Ninja, Reaper, Samurai, Pictomancer, Summoner, Red Mage, Black Mage, Machinist. So I've watched a fair bit of them, actually. Oh, Dancer. Here we go. My baby. My precious. My main.
Updates coming to 14 in Dawntrail. I was recently
Alright. Not gonna lie, I'm so excited to play all melees. Viper, Reaper, and Ninja. Yeah, Reaper actually feels good. I like what they've done to make sure we don't overcap and Shroud. Viper in general feels like old school Monk mixed with like Gunbreaker and Samurai, which is very, very interesting. So I am actually curious to play it. The fact that it's like little inversion of Enshroud is basically Gunbreaker continuation, but a 5-hit combo is fantastic.
At level 90, Dancer is the exact same job. And after level 90, it just gets a few new finishers, but they do make the job a bit more involved, both in and outside of buff windows. First, I'll go over some changes that are pretty standard across all the Fizz ranged. At level 94, you get...
Alright, skipping through that. Okay, a bunch of potency increases. Okay. Makes sense, makes sense.
Which increases the damage. After level 90, they get some brand new skills that act as follow-ups to existing skills. At level 92, they get the trait Enhanced Standard Finish. This grants the Last Dance Ready buff every time you perform Standard Finish for 30 seconds. This grants you access to the skill Last Dance, a GCD follow-up that deals a 420 potency AoE on the target with a 50% fall-off. It's a nice bonus GCD every half a minute with Standard Step. Won't see me complaining. At level 96, you get Enhanced Flourish 2, which causes the ability to grant you Finishing Move Ready in addition to everything else for 30 seconds. This changes Standard Step into Finishing Move, an instant cast 820 potency AoE on the target with a 75% fall off. It also refreshes the Standard Step and Esprit buffs on you and your dance partner. And to top all of that off, it does also grant Last Dance Ready. So this not only acts as an extra bit of damage and another opportunity to swap your dance partner buff if you really need to, but it also procs your other new skill for a little...
Hold on a second. Okay, hold on. Okay. Finishing move. Finish and Esprit.
So refreshes the Standard Step and Esprit buffs on you and your dance partner. And to top all of that off, it does also grant Last Dance Ready. So this not only acts as an extra bit of damage and another opportunity to swap your dance partner buff if you really need to, but it also procs your other new skill for a little more damage. Finally, at level 100, you get Enhanced Technical Finish 2. This causes Technical Finish to grant you Dance of the Dawn Ready for 30 seconds, changing Saber Dance into Dance of the Dawn until used. This still has a 50 gauge cost, but now does 1000 AoE potency on the target with a 50% fall off. So Dancer's general gameplay has actually gotten just a slight bit busier in Dawntrail, even though it's still mostly the same. It even got a little...
Okay, I see how this works. Alright, so like, Flourish is...
busier outside of your 2-minute buff window.
I thought Flourish was every 60 minutes.
Dancing being the job's entire identity. Kind of important when the job's name is Dancer, after all. And they're providing a ton more flavor for said bit. Now, Feather RNG looks like it'll still be very much alive as it was in Endwalker.
Yeah.
And Esprit flooding you at the last second may become a bit more daunting when you have all these new GCDs during your buffs and you just want to use that Saber Dance in order to dump your Esprit. But it felt really fun to quite literally dance around all these new skills. Not to mention, all of the new attacks are AoEs around the target, which is welcome for characters who mostly have attacks that are either line AoEs or point-blank AoEs minus Saber Dance. I'm really, really looking forward to Dancer and Dawntrail, and that's after I was, well, kind of just tired of playing an Endwalker. You know, Fizz Ranged Curse and all when it comes to raid. But that's gonna be
okay. So Dancer, it doesn't seem like they did much with it, which is fine. They just added like a few extra buttons so that your openers and your stuff is like relatively good. Okay. All right, let's go back to Dark Knight.
Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to my overview on all of the Dark Knight updates coming to Final Fantasy XIV in Dawntrail. I was recently given the opportunity to try the expansion out early at the North American Media Tour.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to like skip through the intro because you only need to hear it once or twice. Okay, so yeah, Dancer looks good. The fact that when you do standard now, every time you reproc it every 30 seconds, you now have like 1 or 2 extra things. And then Flourish, of course, gives you like an extra last dance to make your mini bursts a little more interesting. And then Tech Step getting like 1 or 2 new abilities. That's not bad.
Endwalker counterpart with some new changes and updates to potencies and animations. Before level 90, there are actually quite a few significant changes to note for when you first log into the expansion. First off, Plunge is gone, replaced with a damageless gap closer called Shadow Stride. This means you won't be weaving it during burst windows anymore and will instead use it exclusively for its intended purpose.
Okay, that's actually good. I know a lot of people are going to be like, no, less damage, but honestly, Dark Knight and Gunbreaker are very busy jobs when it comes to their off-global cooldowns. So getting rid of this actually helps Dark Knight a little bit more.
This lowers the busyness of the burst window a little bit, though you do get some new tools in order to replace it.
Okay.
Lost the plunge animation. Hopefully it's still in PvP. Second, Blood Weapon becomes Delirium at level 60.
Yeah, I knew about this.
The effects are combined into one button. The
Which makes sense.
Part only has 3 stacks now as well, down from 5 in Endwalker. The MP generation is also the same per hit for both the Delirium and Blood Weapon buffs respectively, so that does mean a bit less MP.
Whoa, what was that animation?
It also means a bit less blood is going to be generated as well. But in exchange for that, Living Shadow no longer costs blood. So it's...
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, so now you can use blood specifically for Blood Spiller and Quietus now. Grant Scorn. What's Scorn? Disesteem. Okay.
Now exclusively used for Blood Spiller and Quietus. Living Shadow also got some potency buffs to its level 88 and 99 traits, though what that means in the grand scheme still remains to be seen. After level 90, there are a bunch of standard changes that pretty much happen across all the tanks. The most unique one is Shadow Wall Mastery, which upgrades Shadow Wall into Shadowed Vigil. This upgrades the damage...
Oh! Holy shit! Wait, Shadow Wall is now every 2 minutes instead of every... Oh, wait, no, I think it already was 2 minutes. Holy shit. 40% damage reduction, and it's basically Excognition now. A 1200 cure potency HP restoration when HP falls below 50% or upon effect duration expiration. Basically, it's Heart of Conundrum. It's Heart of Conundrum. Go, Dark Knight! You go, boo! Get yourself some self-heal.
Dark Knight for 1200 potency once they go under half HP, or after 20 seconds, whichever occurs first.
Yeah,
The other ones are really standard across all the tanks. There's Enhanced Rampart at level 94, which adds a 15%.
What? Yeah, and you get every 2 minutes. And look at that. Look at Rampart. 15% HP recovery by 15%. And that's every 90 seconds, I think. Yeah, they added that back. I know, right? It's fantastic.
Healing received buff to the skill. Melee Mastery at level 94, which increases the potency of almost every GCD that Dark Knight has, minus Unmend and Unleash. And at level 98, they get Enhanced Reprisal, increasing the duration of the debuff.
Oh, yeah,
to 15
that
seconds.
makes sense.
For new skills after level 90, it's entirely upgrades to existing skills. At level 96, Dark Knight gets Enhanced Delirium, which upgrades Blood Spiller and Quietus to new skills, Scarlet Delirium and Impalement. Scarlet Delirium is actually a 3-part combo to replace your 3 Deliriumed Blood Spillers. The combo goes Scarlet Delirium into Comeuppance into Tor Cleaver. The potency...
Oh! They brought the name Tor Cleaver into this game! Yes! It's from Final Fantasy XI, just so you understand. Okay. Oh, so Quietus is now basically the Gunbreaker combo. Oh. Oh!
He scales up with each hit as well, starting at 600, going to 700, and finally 800. Impalement, on the other hand, is just a stronger and cooler version of Quietus.
Okay.
And at level 100, they get
You get 3 of those.
Living Shadow 3. When you use Living Shadow, you gain the Scorn buff for 30 seconds, changing the Living Shadow button into Disesteem. This is simply an 800 potency line AoE off global with a 50% fall off. Another big damage skill to add into your burst window, one of the things that will be replacing those plunges. Esteem himself will also gain access to the skill.
Oh, that's
replacing
cool.
His usual use of Carven Spit. His version does 620 potency with a 25% fall off. All in all, it should feel like you're playing almost the exact same job. Maybe you'll muscle memory mess up some things like, Shadow Striding when you would have plunged, for example. The 1200 less MP from the Delirium Blood Weapon combo might also have some effect on Edge or Floods during Burst, but not anything too major.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm just shocked that the only new healing they got was on Shadowed Vigil. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's nice, but it's once every 2 minutes. I was still really pulling for Abyssal Drain to open up a slightly better self-sustain option. Not anything crazy, just slightly better, but not the case. Maybe next expansion? I'm also someone who very much welcomes all the animation upgrades. One of the big things with the tanks for me is that visually it gets kind of boring seeing just that same skill go off 3, 4, 5 times. Like, Warrior's kind of the only...
Yeah. I think the Shattered Vigil upgrade is fantastic. Because now, like with trash packs, you have that. You have the HP recovery now via Rampart, and now you have, and of course Living Dead. So, whoa, that's fantastic. Alright, let's see what Gunbreaker got.
Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to my overview on all of the Gunbreaker update descriptions, so you won't have to look very... This all seem pretty basic, but they may have a significant effect on some of the more clunky elements the job had in Endwalker. First off, for changes to existing skills level 90 and below, there's a couple of important ones. First off, Rough Divide is gone, replaced with Trajectory. This is a no damage gap closer now, so no more weaving it during burst windows, just gap closing when need be. Should make actually pressing your defensives during 2-minute windows a little more manageable. Second, Sonic Break is now a follow-up skill to No Mercy. Upon using No Mercy, you'll receive the Ready to Break buff for 30 seconds, transforming the skill into Sonic Break until it's used. Still basically aiming to use it the same way as before, but at least I had to let you know. After level 90, Gunbreaker gets a bunch of changes that are kind of similar across all the tanks. One of the most significant ones is the level 92 trait, Nebula Mastery. This transforms Nebula into Great Nebula, increase...
Oh shit! They turned Great Nebula is basically damage reduction by 40% with Thrill of yeah, they got Thrill of Battle. They got Thrill of Battle.
And raising the player's HP by 20% while healing for the same amount for 15 seconds. That's a nice little bonus to an already beefy defensive cooldown.
Yeah.
The remaining upgrades are pretty much the same across all the tanks. Enhanced Rampart adds a 15% healing received buff to the skill.
Yeah.
Minus subs or additions to a continuation follow-up to Faded Circle. Upon pressing the skill continue.
Yeah, so now Faded Circle has a continuation skill on it.
Continuation will change into Faded Brand, a 120 potency AoE. It's just a little bonus to their AoE rotation, nothing else. At level 100, they get Enhanced Bloodfest. Bloodfest now grants the Ready to Rain buff for 30 seconds, transforming the button into Rain of Beasts. This is a 3-part AoE combo that packs a serious punch. The combo goes Rain of Beasts into Noble Blood into Lionheart.
For those of you who don't know, Lionheart is Squall's limit break, ultimate limit break from Final Fantasy VIII. I know there are 1 or 2 Final Fantasy VIII fans who screamed when they saw that Gunbreaker got the limit break from Squall.
Increases with each skill in the combo, though all 3 parts have a 60% fall off after the first target. Now these changes all seem simple like most of the other tank changes, but the Rain of Beast combo and removal of Rough Divide might make their burst window feel a bit more manageable. Many Gunbreakers claim that their burst window was too rigid throughout Endwalker, and while you're likely to still want a very specific lead up to your 2-minute buffs, you'll almost always be committing 1 Gnashing Fang, your Double Down, and the Rain of Beast combo, instead of stressing about fitting in all those burst strikes. You'll also have a bit of an easier time actually using defensive cooldowns during those 2-minute windows. So on the surface, it looks like an overall win for the job. I'm not a Gunbreaker main though, so I'll be leaving it up to them to figure out if there's any weirdness that comes with some of these changes. Only time.
Yeah, it does seem like their openers are a lot less busy now. Does make it a lot more friendly for them to press defensive cooldowns. I've heard some Gunbreakers on stream bitch about how hard it is to weave in that, so fantastic.
Hey everyone,
all right, let's look at Paladin. All right, let me here we go.
Paladin functions mostly the same as it did in Endwalker, with a few nifty new animations and upgrades. For pre-level 90 updates, the most significant of them is that Goring Blade is now only available for 30 seconds after using Fight or Flight. It also
so you can only use Goring Blade during your burst window.
Button with it, so when you use Fight or Flight, it will become Goring Blade until you actually use it.
That's nice.
Ideally, you're going to use this during the Fight or Flight buff itself, since, you know, damage. Atonement also got a small upgrade. It's now a 3-part action combo. Instead of just using Atonement 3 times back to back, the second and third times you use the skill will have updated names and animations. The combo is now Atonement into Supplication into Sepulture. The second
and if you look at this, both of them restore MP. So you actually use the Atonement sets to restore MP. I think though, wait, no, I think Atonement already does that though.
Potency, but fortunately you can still freely interrupt the combo and use the 3 Atonement stats.
Oh, thank God Atonement got changed. Yeah, it's now a 3-button combo.
Post level 90 upgrades to existing skills, there's a few basic ones that are pretty much the same across all of the tanks. At level 92, you'll get Sentinel Mastery, which upgrades Sentinel to Guardian.
Okay. So Guardian is a 40% damage reduction and a shield of a heal of 1,000 potency. Ow. Nullifies damage equivalent to a heal of 1,000 potency. God damn. So they just basically got a shield.
Now reduces the damage you take by 40% instead of 30%, and also grants the Paladin a 1,000 potency barrier on themselves. So it's a pretty significant upgrade. At level 94, you get Enhanced Rampart, which adds a circle and Goring Blade. You get Enhanced for Mastery, changing it into a new skill, Imperator. This is an AoE upgrade that comes with a hefty potency increase as well. Functionally, it's still the same as Reprisal. You still use it to go into your Confiteor combo, and
looks like Intervene still deals damage.
For AoE damage, since it has that now.
Which applies first, the shield or the 40% reduction? I would suspect it probably puts both up at the same time, if I had to guess.
All in all, you'll probably be using it almost exactly the same. Finally, at level 100, you get the Enhanced Blade of Valor trait. This causes using Blade of Valor to grant the buff Blade of Honor Ready, granting access to the skill of the same name for 30 seconds. Blade of Honor is an off-global addition to the end of your Confiteor combo.
Oh, it's off-global cooldown. I mean, for calculation, I was hoping for no damage for gap closer. Yeah. Well,
in an AoE around the target
I
with
think
a 50% fall off. It replaces Imperator on your hotbar until it is used, though you'll likely use it almost immediately within buffs. Perhaps there's also some optimization to be had here. You can save it for up to 30 seconds, so maybe there's an AoE to hold on to it for.
I could see why they didn't, because in comparison to Dark Knight and Gunbreaker, it's not as heavy into your rotation.
On the fight. All in all, it'll feel like you're playing almost the exact same job, which is a pro and a con depending on who you ask. Some people were not pleased with the changes to the job in 6.3, and since it's basically the same thing, if you're in that boat, you're likely not going to budge. On the flip side, it's nice to have more animations on the Atonement combo to make it more visually stimulating. Same with the update to Requiescat. The tank tools all
care less about these. I love the Paladin changes from 6.3. I'm a fan of them as well. I think it really streamlined some things. I think it made things a lot less painful.
Mr. Happy here, and welcome to my overview.
Alright, let me skim into this. Alright, cool. Let's see. Yeah, I'm like thinking about picking up Paladin as a tank. I mean, I play Warrior, but I'm also curious to try other tanks.
Exact same job, but with more swinging of the axe. Before level 90, the only notable changes are a reduction in potency to Mithril Tempest and Decimate.
No! They nerfed my boys!
The new AoE skills they have later on.
Oh, that makes sense, okay.
Got an animation update to Inner Chaos, but the skill is still identical in function and potency.
Oh!
After level 90, they get a ton of updates to existing skills that are similar-ish across all the tanks.
Primal
level 92,
Wrath.
They get Vengeance Mastery, updating the skill to Damnation. And
whoa. Oh! They get Regen. They get Aurora onto their, okay. They get basically Aurora onto it. Nice.
40% damage reduction instead of 30, and also grants a 400 potency regen for 15 seconds. Because, you know, Warrior needed even more healing.
Absolutely, Happy. Absolutely. Warrior can't have enough self-healing.
Rampart, now granting a 15% increase to healing received for its duration. They also get Melee Mastery at that level. Enhanced Reprise for new skills. They basically got 2 enhancements to their Inner Release window. At level 96, they get Enhanced Inner Release. This causes every Fell Cleave and Decimate within Inner Release to grant stacks of Burgeoning Fury. At 3 stacks, the buff changes to Wrathful, and the Inner Release button is replaced by Primal Wrath for 30 seconds or until the ability is used.
Okay, so it's to be used at the end of your Fell Cleaves.
It deals 600 potency worth of damage with a 70% fall off. What else is there to say? You swing your axe 3 times and then you use this. You can maybe save it for a multi-target phase if it's coming
Warrior's squishiest tank, they need the self-heals or else healer can't keep up.
At level 100, they get Enhanced Primal Rend.
I mean,
this causes Primal Rend
yeah, that's true, because they don't get a lot of shields.
For 30 seconds. This changes Primal Rend into Primal Ruination, a follow-up GCD that deals 740 potency in an AoE with a 70% fall off. And like all of the Inner Release GCDs before it, it is a guaranteed critical direct hit.
God, Primal Ruination, it feels so good. It's like...
Anything to say about Warrior? Did you like bashing enemies with a giant axe before? Well, you'll be obliterating them even more now, with an even bigger axe. It's still a very simple job, still tons of healing, heck, even more healing now for some reason. And of course, you're just a warrior. Unga bunga, have fun, no worries. Just enjoy it like you did before, and don't worry about all those other jobs that are worrying about this change and that change. No, what do you have to worry about? Bigger, badder axe, and that is all. And that's
that makes sense, yeah. I mean, White Mage 7 noticed that Warrior requires a lot more healing than other tanks. Before or after 50, too? Because once they get raw intuition, they really shouldn't be struggling that much. You must have some very shitty warriors. as a warrior, I hardly ever need my healer to do a lot of healing on me. Like, out of all the tanks, even at 90? With bloodletting? With a bloodletting? Okay. You got some bad tanks. 1 second. I'm actually gonna really quickly reset the program. Okay, 1 second. There we go. It was lagging a little bit, I could tell. Yeah. If you got random tanks who can't, as a warrior, who can't keep themselves near full, that's a terrible problem. Because bloodletting every 20 seconds, and you combine that with an infuriate inner chaos. Yeah, paladins have a lot of good defensive skills as well, yeah. Plus, with the fact that they cast Holy Circle or whatnot, and it heals them. Yeah. But warriors should not need a lot of healing. Like, out of all the tanks, the squishiest should be Dark Knight, because all they have is TBN and Oblation for the most part. They have, like, no self-healing. Gunbreaker has Aurora, plus Heart of Conundrum's basically XCOG. So between the two of those, they should be good. I can't understand what kind of warriors you had who don't know how to maximize how good and powerful bloodletting is. Like, bloodletting plus a decimate, or bloodletting plus a buffed up version of decimate, I go from very small amount of health to straight up full in one move. I know, I've seen Dark Knight solo dungeon boss after wipe. I have soloed dungeon bosses as warrior. And I'll be honest, I do not do in-game with warrior. You've just had really bad warriors. I am so sorry.
Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to my
Like, even now, I'm not even level 50 on my ult. The second you get Vengeance unlocked, long as you know how to properly manage your cooldowns, it's not hard for healers to heal me. I'm just lucky, I guess. I'm fair. Alright, let's go.
A lot of changes, but the few updates it does have are notable. Before level 90, the only new thing the job has is Ukrasian Dyscrasia.
Yeah.
You get this Ukrasian upgrade to the AoE at level 82, and it is a point-blank AoE dot. But the big question on every healer's mind, though, does the dot stack with Ukrasian Dosis? And as of the Media Tour, yes, it does.
Oh!
And Ukrasian Dosis make it the return of the double dot healer. The
Hell yeah!
tick for 30 seconds.
As someone who loved Old Scholar who had like 3 freaking dots, hell yeah!
A total of 400 potency. This does make it a slight gain over Dosis 3 in the build that I played. Seems like Sage might be the go-to for players missing that extra dot from expansions past. At least if the potency stays higher. Who knows if they're going to want this to be the norm. After level 90, the updates to existing skills are minimal at best. At level 94, Sage gets 3 traits. Magic Mastery, which just buffs Dosis' potency to 360, still 40 under Ukrasian Dyscrasia. Enhanced Soteria lowers that ability's cooldown to 60 seconds, down from 90.
Ooh, that's nice.
Trait lowers that ability's cooldown to 40 seconds.
Soteria's nice because I think that adds like extra healing per every DPS attack or something like that. I forget.
At level 96, Sage gets Ukrasian Prognosis Mastery, upgrading the ability to Ukrasian Prognosis 2. The potency stays the same, but it upgrades your AoE shield with a fancy new animation and bumps the barrier up from 320% to 360%.
Okay, make it more on par with Scholar.
Physis 2, which specifically buffs the duration of the healing buff that players receive from Physis 2 to 15 seconds. The regen was already 15 seconds, so now both of the buffs just match. As for new skills at level 90 plus, Sage has two major ones. The first new ability they learn at level 92 is Psyche. This is an off-global AoE nuke that you can use once a minute that does 600 potency on the first target with a 50% fall off. Legit, just an extra bit of off-global DPS to gain.
I mean, the fact that that does 31k and that you get a portion of that, you probably get like a 10k heal out of that for whoever you have on cardia. That's fucking fantastic.
And at level 100, they get Philosophia. This 3-minute cooldown ability grants the Sage a 20% buff to their healing magic potency for 20 seconds.
Okay.
It also grants you and all nearby party members the Eudaimonia buff, which basically acts as a temporary sort of cardia to everyone affected.
Oh! AoE cardia? Oh yeah. New model, let's go! Hey, okay! Hey, Mortis! Yeah! I forgot you didn't know about the new model. Yeah, I started it last week. Or, well, earlier this week. Right, Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. The new model was on Sunday. I'm sorry, my days are off. I've been, reacting to videos for a while. Thank you. I still have to do some tweaks to it. Still need to add some toggles. I do want to add some, like, texture toggles and whatnot, but, for right now, this is what I got. Thank you. Oh, man. AoE cardia!
Landed for the duration will heal all affected allies for 150 potency.
Oh, that's
the
a
big
very
difference
high one.
here is that this isn't just offensive spells. It's any spell. So even things like Eucrasian Prognosis will proc the heal from Philosophia.
Oh.
This means that so long as you are always casting for the duration, you're 100% getting the maximum effectiveness out of the healing portion.
That's actually pretty good.
Cardia's heal as well, so your linked target will be getting
Ooh.
a big boost of health with any offensive.
Are you planning to add some physics for the clothes? Yes. I'd have to go in and tweak the bones in Unity. It's part of the work I do want to do on it. But I gotta figure it out in Unity.
Cast. So while Sage hasn't changed much, the changes it did get are kind of exciting. If the double dot thing stays, I know plenty of people who will gravitate towards it in Dawntrail. On top of having an extra
Mostly I do want the ribbon to be able to move.
Buff window, which will both enhance when you need to spam heals, or if you just don't need to, you still get that AoE healing potency, which just gives it a lot better use. It's literally the same job with a few extra widgets thrown in. And given it was my favorite healer throughout Endwalker,
I did the model
when Dawntrail comes.
The model was in Vroid, but I did add like the AR kit blend shapes in Unity and did some tweaking to the blend shapes. I would like, I want to get the handkerchief and the ribbon both animated. The ribbon's going to be a little bit difficult. It's actually 2 different layers, but it technically counts as one object, so I'd probably have to rebuild the handkerchief from scratch. Same with the bow in Unity, and that might take a bit. That might be a long way off.
Overview on Sage in Dawntrail. Be sure to like.
Okay. What about... this is what we're gonna need. What the... Let me refresh this.
Hey everyone, Mr. Happy.
Alright, there we go. Oh, yeah, that's a lot of work. Yeah, that's why I was like, it's probably gonna be a little bit if and when I get that done.
When you get into early access. Didn't like it?
Okay.
That. However, know that with the cards being different, that Astrodyne and that seal system are entirely gone. So if you didn't like it, it's good news for you. The other core spells and abilities are pretty much exactly the same up to level 90, at which point Astro gets some traits that upgrade existing, and in that seal system, discussing that. However, know that with the cards being different,
I'm gonna have to change up, go back a bit.
entirely new in Dawntrail, we should cover the simpler changes and additions first before discussing that.
Oh,
However,
okay.
know that with the cards being different,
They're gonna
that
talk about
Astrodyne
the
and
cards
that
in a
seal
bit.
System are entirely gone. So if you didn't like it, it's good news for you.
Yeah, I knew
The other
Astrodyne
core
was
spells
getting
and
removed.
abilities are pretty much exactly the same up to level 90, at which point Astro gets some traits that upgrade existing skills and add some new ones. And yes, Star is still in. I know some people were worried not seeing it in the live letter. Don't worry, it's there. At level 94, Fall Malefic and Combust get a small potency boost from the Magic Mastery trait, something that's pretty standard
the
amongst
usual
the healers in Dawntrail. At level 96, Aspected Helios gets a mastery trait that upgrades it to Helios Conjunction. Seems it just has a slightly stronger regen than Aspected Helios
and a better animation. Yeah.
And at level 98, Essential Dignity gets a third charge. I didn't think it needed a third charge, but hey, you won't find me complaining. I love Essential Dignity. And of course,
yeah,
like
I
all
wouldn't
the
complain
casters
either.
and healers in Dawntrail, Swift Cast now only has a 40-second cooldown after level 94 as well. The remaining new non-card skills in Dawntrail are follow-up attacks to existing skills. At level 92, you get a trait for Divination that causes it to grant the Divining buff for 30 seconds. This grants access to Oracle, a 600 potency AoE nuke with no fall-off damage. Of course, you're going to be looking to fit this inside of you and your team's buff windows to grant the Sun-Touched buff for 30 seconds, which allows you to use the ability Sun Sign a single time. This grants a 10% damage reduction.
Oh, so you can use Neutral Sect, and then for an additional damage reduction, use Sun Sign. But isn't Neutral Sect still like a 2-minute cooldown?
Yourself and nearby allies for 15 seconds. Since Sun Touch lasts 30 seconds, you can either stack it with your neutral sect shields or save it until your sect goes down, whatever works best for the fight you're doing. Alright, now for the new card system. Old draw, redraw, undraw, they're all gone, and in their place is all new stuff. At level 30, Astrologian learns Astral and Umbral Draw. Using Astral or...
Hold on, let me read these, because this is important. Draws Balance, Arrow, Spire, and the Lord of Crowns for your Divining deck. Okay, upon play, play 1 is Balance, play 2 is Arrow, play 3 is Spire, Lord of Crowns is Minor Arcana, and Astral Draw changes to Umbral Draw. Okay, so Spear, Bowl, Ewer, Lady of Crowns for your Divining deck. Okay, so you alternate between Astral and Umbral Draw.
Umbral Draw will pull 3 cards from your deck while restoring 5% of your MP.
What do these cards do?
As well, and will alternate which draw you perform next every time you use the skill. So you'll use Astral Draw, you'll get all the cards, you'll wait a minute, and then it will be Umbral Draw, and then Astral, etc., etc. Astral and Umbral Draw always pull the same 3 cards, so there's no more card RNG at all.
Okay.
For Astral Draw, you will always pull the Balance, the Arrow, and the Spire. The Balance has the same effect as Endwalker.
Okay, damage by 6% if melee, DPS, or tank, 3% for all other rolls.
The target's damaged by 6% if melee or tank, and 3% if ranged or healer. The Arrow increases
HP recovery via healing actions for a party member herself by 10%. Okay. Okay, so Arrow is now basically something you can throw in a tank for extra healing. So Astro now plays with a rigged deck. Yep, exactly. There is no randomness.
Healing actions by 10% for 15 seconds, making it a nice healing cooldown for you or your co-healer. I like the idea of playing it on the shield healer in your party in order to get bigger shields for a mechanic that's coming up. And the Spire puts a 400 potency barrier on the...
Oh, shit. Okay. So an extra shield. Ooh, that's not bad. You could use that for the tank or a ranged who might be taking more damage.
For Umbral Draw, you will always pull the Spear, the Bowl, and the Ewer.
Okay, yeah, Spear is range, DPS, or healer.
Spear is the inverse of the Balance, so 6% for range and healer and 3% for melee and tank. The Bowl reduces damage taken on the target by 10% for 15 seconds, like it used to way back when. And
Yeah, they basically turned Bowl back into what it was originally. It used to be like a little extra tank buff.
The Ewer gives the target player
healing over time. Ewer used to give back MP, like that was what its use was for, but a regen is not bad.
A 200 potency regen for 15 seconds. Now after level 70, each of these draws will also pull minor arcana. And again, there's no RNG on this anymore. Astral Draw will always pull the Lord of Crowns, a 400 potency AoE damage card, and Umbral Draw will always pull the Lady of Crowns, a 400 potency
AoE heal. Okay, so minor arcana hasn't changed.
You begin instances and respawns with Astral Draw automatically loaded into your deck. On one hand, this is nice because it means you don't need to think about any pre-pull draw shenanigans. You know, pull one, wait a few seconds, then start the countdown. That kind of thing is gone. On the other hand, the cards are actually playable out of combat in the build that I played. And so our Astro is going to throw out all of their utility cards pre-pull, then use the balance, and then play the Lord, and then immediately draw Umbral and play the Spear so they have 2 damage cards during buffs. It seems like that's gonna be what actually happens.
Interesting. So essentially we could Astro could throw 4 cards up and buff all the DPS right at the start. Oh, that's interesting. And there's no cooldown on them?
If the cards work exactly the same as they did in Mediator. So your opener might still be busy if that was something that you liked as Astro, but I don't know if that's how it's going to turn out. That's just a little bit of speculation based on how it seems to be done in the Mediator. So this new card system is kind of a merger of the old card system from expansions past and something new entirely. There's a lot more unique card effects again instead of everything just being a damage card.
Yeah, which is something I was really wanting.
Properly balanced, and if they maybe want to change one of the effects in a later expansion, they totally can. However, some people did enjoy the RNG and on-the-fly card plays, so this was never going to please everyone. Hopefully, longtime Astros enjoy this new system and more proper planning around card availability. And other than the cards, Astros kit still looks insanely strong. I've always felt like there's been a big disparity between what an Astrologian was capable of and what its co-pure healer, the White Mage, was capable of. That honestly feels even more so now. Yeah, White Mage got some new stuff. It'll probably be a personal DPS powerhouse, and it's got some more utility than it had before, especially in the movement category. But Astro literally got so much new utility and even a bit more damage. I mean, not Sect having this AoE damage mitt follow-up, a healing buff that you can give to yourself or your shield buddy, tank mitt, like, it's just kind of insane. And then you have an extra essential dignity on top of it all. Who cares about the extra Tetra White Mage got? You got 3 essential dignities now. You're still one-upping them. So
well, I mean, but I mean, White Mage does still have straight healing power. But I do see, like, Astra being way more competitive with White Mage now. Like, that is actually fantastic. Alright. Scholar. We have Scholar, and then White Mage, and then,
Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to...
And then I kind of want to watch some of the videos of, like, the music and such. Probably just to listen a little bit. And I think we'll probably be done.
See here changes, whether that's potencies, ability coming into Dawntrail. They even left energy drain in for once. The only notable change to any pre-Dawntrail skill is change stratagem, which now lasts for 20 seconds instead of 15 seconds. Hey, that's 5 more seconds of crits. Let's go.
Yay! They made it on par with everything else.
Get upgraded potencies or effects. At level 94, you get Tactician's Mastery, a trait that increases the potency of Biolysis and Boil Force slightly. At level 96, you get Sucker Mastery, which upgrades Sucker to Constitution. It's basically the same spell and function, and it has the same base potency, but it now provides 180% of the healing as a barrier instead of the 160% that Sucker had. So, small AoE barrier upgrade. At level 98, Scholar gets Enhanced Recitation.
Can use it on XCOG more often, since XCOG's every 45 seconds. which is nice. You can pretty much use it every time on XCOG.
Now,
Sorry.
level 92, Scholar gets Enhanced Chain Stratagem, which will give them access to their first brand new skill. Upon using Chain, the Scholar will gain a buff called Impact Imminent for 30 seconds. This allows them to use the follow-up ability, Baneful Impaction, inflicting an AoE dot that deals 150 potency per tick for 15 seconds. That's fine, I guess. I honestly, when I used it, I had to double check to see if I even did use it, because I didn't really think the skill felt that good to use personally. But I guess I can't complain about another damaging off global during.
Yeah, why are you gonna complain? 2 dots on Scholar again. It's like the good old days.
This transforms the Scholar's appearance and grants them several beneficial effects for 20 seconds.
Adlet looks different.
While in Seraphism, you will gradually restore the HP of allies within 50 yalms, healing them for 100 potency per tick.
Whoa!
Second, it transforms Eloquium into Manifestation and Concitation into Accession, increasing their spell potencies and making them instant cast for the entire duration.
Whoa!
That's right. Instant cast, buff shields for a whole 20 seconds. I hope your MP can handle all of that, though. Finally, it resets emergency tactics cooldown immediately and causes its recast to only be 1 second for the duration. So if need be, you can emergency tactics any and all heals during Seraphism. Great for making the skill flexible, both for healing and shielding into
holy shit!
At the same time. Again, so long as your mana can actually handle it. The only sort of caveat to this skill is that you can't use Dissipation while you are in Seraphism. While this means no doubling down on extra ether flows during this, it also means that your fairy is still there assisting you throughout all of Seraphism's duration.
Yeah.
So Scholar is an absolute healing powerhouse during this skill. Oh,
yeah.
In my excitement, I almost forgot to mention that it has a 3-minute cooldown. So you'll be a healing powerhouse, just not all that often. Basically,
well, I mean, considering how broken that is, it better be a 3-minute cooldown.
Scholar's MO with every single expansion. It's not that it hasn't gotten updates or improvements. Oh, it's gotten them in spades. And a lot of the times, players have laughed at previous upgrades until they've gotten their hands on the chop. And then they've realized, wait, this is really good. I mean, look at Expedient from last expansion. Everyone laughed at it when we saw it in the trailer, when we were told about it. Then as soon as more information came out, they were like, this is the greatest.
Oh, damn it. Increased movement and damage reduction?
Because they didn't know they were getting it about that time. Sorry about that. But Scholar is almost always, if not the least changed job, one of the least changed jobs in any expansion, on an expansion to an expansion basis. I suppose it's the tried and true example of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Just tune it up here and there. Just, again, glad to see they left Energy Drain there for one. But that's going to be a wrap for my overview on all of the updates to Scholar coming in Dawntrail. Thanks again to Square Enix for bringing me out to the media tour. And again, all this stuff could change before early access. So keep an eye on all that. But anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to go check out all the other job overview videos.
All right, finally, it is time for White Mage. And then we'll probably listen to the themes, and then we'll call it good.
Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and welcome to my... Be sure to take a look at all the job change videos I'll be putting out alongside this. Are different. White Mage is almost entirely the same as it was in Endwalker, for better or worse. Almost every single spell and potency that it had before is still in the game and still exactly the same up to level 90. From level 91 to 100, however, some do undergo some changes or upgrades. The White Magic Mastery trait at level 94 increases the potencies of Dia, Glare, and Afflatus Misery, while another trait at level 94 reduces Swiftcast cooldown to 40 seconds, which we learned about.
Wait, what was that skill?
Tetragrammaton also gains a second charge at level 98 via trait as well, giving White Mage a bit better of a time with their off-global healing capacity. Medica 2 also undergoes an upgrade at level 96 to Medica 3.
About time!
Entirely the same, it just now rocks a new animation and higher potency.
Oh, the new animation is very pretty. Oh, sorry, I need to zoom it into...
a new skill at level 40 called Ethereal Shift. This allows them to
forward. We get it at level 40?
Just a 1-minute cooldown.
Homina.
Ability a lot. So I'm willing to bet White Mages are going to have a field day with this. Also really glad that it is a low-level skill. I know some of you are looking at things like Unending Coil at level 70 and thinking, you know what, this will be pretty nice to have. Speaking of mobility, Presence of Mind also gets a new trait at level 92.
Wait, what?
This causes using the ability to grant 3 stacks of Sacred Sight for 30 seconds. This grants access to Glare 4, an instant cast AoE GCD for 570 potency. That's a big upgrade over Glare 3. This grants 3 GCDs worth of mobility, which could be very important when attacking during the buff windows. The increased cascade from Presence of Mind makes these stacks disappear very quickly, but hey, it's a nice addition to their 2-minute window.
No,
Finally,
it's fantastic.
At level 100, you'll get a new trait for Temperance. Using your White Mage wings at max level will grant you a buff called Divine Grace for 30 seconds.
Blair, you just got back right when I got on the White Mage video. Yeah. Okay. Oh no. I hope your PC's doing better. So, Ethereal Shift.
Cooldown. This helps with mobility a lot. So I'm willing to bet White Mages are going to have a field day with this. Also really glad that it is a low level.
Look at that gap closer. So apparently it's like en avant. So it's in the direction you're pointing, instead of to an enemy or ally. So that's actually wunderbar.
Things like Unending Coil level 70 and things. This causes using the
also Presence of Mind gives you 3 stacks of Sacred Sight, which is an insta-cast Glare 4. So now you have 3 insta-casts during your Presence of Mind window that you could use for movement during your burst windows on DBS on White Mage.
Of Sacred Sight for 30 seconds. This grants access to Glare 4, an instant cast AoE GCD for 500 and...
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention it was AoE.
To their 2-minute window. Finally, at level 100, you'll get a new trait for Temperance. Using your White Mage wings at max level will grant you a buff called Divine Grace for 30 seconds. This grants you access to the Divine Caress ability, an off-global AoE potency barrier for you and your teammates.
Oh shit. Basically, I think it's Panheima. I think they basically gave him Panheima. It's basically a Cure 2 barrier around you and your party members, and then gives you a 200 potency regen for 15 seconds after the barrier effect ends.
Not only that, but once the barrier fades, everyone gets a 200 potency regen for 15 seconds. It will consume Divine Grace, of course, when you actually use it, but this extra shield should be handy, especially if you use a 10-second window after Temperance itself actually wears off. Gives you a little bit of buffer space for it. And those are all of the White Mage changes coming to Dawntrail. Not a whole lot. It's going to feel like a very similar job. So if you enjoyed it in Endwalker, you'll probably enjoy it in Dawntrail. Their goal seems to have just been to enhance parts of the job that it's already known for. You know, there's a few boosted potencies, an extra off-global heal, and finally giving it some form of AoE barrier. Glare 4 is nice since its potency is a huge step up from Glare 3 during buffs, as well as the instant cast to help with mobility during one of the most important times. I will say, however, that I think some things on the job might be better off being less tied to other big cooldowns. Divine Caress being so infrequent and being tied to using another defensive buff itself, it's just not as flexible as I'd personally like it to be. If anything, if they really want to keep it tied to Temperance, I kind of just wish the Divine Grace buff was permanent after you use the skill, until you actually use Divine Caress, of course.
That would make sense, actually.
It right on top during Temperance, or using it in just that short window.
And that might be something they fix in 8.0.
You know, I'd prefer either of those things instead of it being a follow-up. That being said, White Mage players who truly enjoy the job fantasy, high personal damage, and improved job fundamentals with Dawntrail should feel like they're eating all right. But that's going to be a wrap for my video on White Mage in Dawntrail. Again, be sure to check out all the other videos. There is a playlist in the description of this video to check it all out. And trust me, you won't have any trouble finding it on my channel today. So thanks for watching. I'll see all of you in the next video. And until then, take care.
Yeah, so that was all the jobs. Fantastic. I like some of the changes. Big, huge fan of the change they made to the changes they've made to some of the jobs, especially Bard. Bard actually looks like it's going to be a lot better. Ooh.
Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here. Just doing a quick little intro before the video gets started. Completely dungeon boss still subject to change, whether it be the gameplay you're seeing or even the music you're hearing. You know how is kind of a result about that. Obviously, like I said, we still have some time before early access, and this isn't all that unusual for a media tour build. Anyway, I'll quit yapping. Enjoy the boss.
What is that? That is horrifying. Oh, it's a troll. Oh! Oh. Oh, I see what they did with the motifs from the Dawntrail theme. This is supposed to be the mid-boss, so like the first two bosses of any dungeon, this is going to be their theme. Drowsy's... Whoa, what was that effect? Oh, that's cool. Oh, God. That is... Oh. That's actually pretty good theme. That is something I could actually listen to for the entire expansion, not hate it. Good job, guys. All right, now what's the final boss theme?
Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here. Just doing a quick little disclaimer though. On the top left is access, and this isn't all that unusual for a media tour build. Anyway.
Ooh. That track sounds like a battle waltz. I know, right? What's this one? This one sounds a bit... Hold on! They have singing in this one now. Whoa! Also, why does this sound familiar? Da, 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 da. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is probably Dawntrail motifs, but this sounds different. Part of this... Also, by the way, this little fade-in, like, where it, like, notes this in the middle of the screen, that is really cool. Yeah! That might be it. It's either FF8 or FF9 riffs. Oh. I still want to hear the dungeon theme. Was it something from Endwalker, maybe? That this sounded like? I don't think FF9 sounds much like FF8 to me. That makes sense. Yeah! Yeah, it has motifs from Endwalker. I think that's what it is. I like the opera singing in it. It doesn't feel too much or too little. Also, is it me, or does the combat look a little more difficult? Wow. They're adding some difficulty to the dungeons again. They did it in I swear to God, this sounds like something from Endwalker, and I don't remember where it is. It's gonna drive me crazy tonight. I'm gonna go to sleep after this, and I'm gonna jerk awake at like 2 a.m. Whoa. Oh, that's cool. Oh. That's cool. I mean, at least it isn't ice. Ooh. Yeah, I know I've heard this theme before, but I don't remember where in Endwalker. I know it's something from Endwalker now. Alright, let's see. I know I also had Mystech stuff. I wanted to oh god, of course there's more jump puzzles in the fucking city. Check comments under that video. Oh, the motif? Yeah. Get vibes from 16. Oh, maybe it is from Final Fantasy 16. Maybe that's what I'm hearing. Oh god, they do have the Abaddon monster from FF9. Yeah, I think it feels like a mix of like something else with some Final Fantasy 16. Music. FF13 battle vibes. Not quite. Feels like more like something I would have heard in Final Fantasy 11. Yeah! It does have Final Fantasy 11 vibes. Okay. Oh! Oh! That makes sense. That's what it is. Torn from the heavens. It's like a remix of some bits from Torn from the Heavens. Okay, that's it. That's what it was. That makes sense. Oh shit, Jinbob went to the... Oh. Oh wow. Congrats, Jinbob. Oh, the Omega Boss theme. Yeah. Yeah, that was probably what it was. Dungeon boss music, new loading screens. Where was the, thought there was, like, the double die, but maybe it was, oh, here we go. I'm gonna be honest, I find the Astro gear looking very plain this expansion. Oh. Oh. But that weapon looks hella nice. That's gonna look real nice as a relic weapon too. I have not played the DLC yet. I haven't even bought it. I should play it at some point. Probably will, right after Dawntrail ends. Or right after I'm done with Dawntrail. Oh. Okay. How's White Mage look? Not the hugest fan of White Mage either. I mean, the weapons look really nice, but the gear... Well, oh, I actually like the headpiece. The little, probably dyeable, little, leaf there. What? Scholar! Damn! I like the thigh highs. The rest of this is kinda eh. I actually like the little scholar headpiece, is so smaller and cuter. Oh, the weapon's not bad. The more I look at the scholar outfit, the more that's actually growing on me. Looks punk as fuck, yeah. Oh. Why does Sage have the best looking Keeler gear this time around? Like, holy snapples. Like, look at that. They be looking so fly. Ooh. Ooh, the Noliths look good too. What in the hell? 1 second. First rule, no soliciting. And where's the other button? I highly dislike soliciting. If you're gonna try and advertise a product, at least first, buy me dinner, and 2, say hello. Thank you. Not a fan of the pants, but everything else looks good, just not the pants. Oh my god, that gun blade! Oh god, I might have to go Gunbreaker. Oh, they never do, I know, right? Look at that gun blade! Look at this beautiful homina. Oh. Gunbreaker gear actually looks good. What the hell? Minus his pants. His pants are kind of eh. Aww. Of course, the headpiece for Paladin clips. They always just pop in a channel, post their ad, get banned. Damn straight. And... Hello? Tattoos and a midriff? Tattoos and a midriff? Oh. I like the barb. Headpiece can't have bangs, yeah. I probably wouldn't be using the headpiece, but oh, the axe looks good. I haven't seen an axe look that good at OG AF since Stormblood. Oh. Not a fan of the headpiece because that's just a Baron remake, but okay. I like this. It's chunky, yes, but look at the little fur, the nice shiny metal on it. Oh, that's a thick sword. Woo! I would probably not wear the headpiece. He did say Unga Bunga. Yeah, that's true. No slash visor. Aww. Not a fan of the leggings, but everything else about this outfit I am all for. I bet if you combine that with the, I think it's either Stormblood or Heaven Sword, one of the two that has, like, the legging on one side and it turns into ripped shorts on the other. It's actually one of the design inspirations, hilariously enough, for my outfit. I like most of this, actually. Wait! Is that bard bow a guitar? I know, it's why I like it hippie. Yo! The bard weapon's a guitar! A guitar! Damn! I want a glowy version of that. I want a glowy version of that. Yoshi P, please, please, please! Whoa! Neurons activated, neurons activated, neurons activated. Oh my god. Look at how flowy that feels on Dancer. Ooh. All the chains and the oh. Okay. Oh, I love the Dancer weapons too. Damn! Damn! Oh. Neurons activated twice. I like it. I like it. I like it. Oh. I want you to look at that beautiful, beautiful gun pistol right there. Woo! The detailing. Yes. Nihiaure, partner. Oh god, I sounded too southern with that. I like the hand pieces. I like the little tattoos on them. Kinda like the headpiece. The robe feels a little homeless chic. Oh, the boots are really nice. Those are some high boots. The staff has a kitty on it. I'm sold. I'm sold. It has a cat on it. Yes. Oh, I love that. That is so cute. Pictomancer, which is a 1-for-1 of Realms outfit. Black Mage looks like just a wonder, and the hat looks straight out of Harry Potter. I know, right? Kind of why I wasn't as impressed with it. But so... Not a fan of the hat? But the rest of that outfit... I kinda like. Oh. Oh, that's so cool. The hilt is a rose. Pictomancer looks quirky, like you expect an artist look. Well, Pictomancer's outfit is a 1-for-1 of Realms outfit from Final Fantasy VI. Just like more detailed. Look at that beautiful red mage weapon with the rose coming out of the hilt. The multiple crystals. That's interesting. Very kind of fancy looking. I still think I like the red mage outfit from Endwalker slightly more. What did you do to my summoner? Oh. Well, I mean, the summoner dong probably looks better if you don't have bangs, but... I mean, this would look good on the male figure, but... wait, no. Wait, no. Wait, no. There is sides. There is sides showing. You know what? I could live with this. I could tolerate this. And the fact is, two dyeable channels will probably make it better. Oh. Oh my lord. Hello, mother. Oh god. Alright. I'm gonna have to play Reaper for Dawntrail. I have to play Reaper for Dawntrail. Look at this. Ooh. Oh my god. And I play Highlander on my lore main. So I could wear this. Woo. Look, the front of the legs even has like it looks like it's ribbed and has like openings on it. Woo. Mommy, sorry. I know, right? Oh. Look at that beautiful, beautiful Reaper weapon. Whew. Oh my god, she's not wearing a bra under that! There's no bra underneath that top! Oh my god! Honey! Yeah, it's laced at the front. Uh-huh. Oh, actually, Samurai doesn't look bad. It's a little bit bulky, but it looks very cool. I like it. I actually like the way they did the top is the bra, yeah. Woo. That samurai weapon, you looking awful plain, but the hilt looks nice. Okay. Okay. The Viper AF gear looks really nice too. I wouldn't mind wearing that actually. Looks like it'll be great in Frozen North. Anywhere else it's just asking for heat stroke. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, see, I like Vipers. Like, it's like a very subtle sexiness. That was for Sam. No, I knew what you meant. Mmm. Damn, this is a 1-for-1 of kind. Highwind this time. They just straight went for the Highwind reference. Okay. Okay. I see what you're doing. I approve. I approve. Ooh. I like the top for Monk. I like the gloves. Not a huge fan of the legs, but everything else looks good. Oh, the headpiece has a little ribbon at the back. Nice. Oh. Ooh, reverse Tonfa type blades. Okay. Fancy. Has that kung fu feel, yeah. I am gonna swap to a video to see the dyeable versions real quick. Oh. Oh. Hi, ninja. Oh my word. The ninja swords are alright, but the outfit I actually kind of like. How's that, a ninja? I mean, I just like the look of it. I didn't say it was a proper stealthy ninja. It's a cool outfit, but not for a ninja. Yeah, that's fair. Alright, let me... One second, because I think Here we go.
Hey Buns, it's Epla here with another media tour video for Dawntrail. In this one, I went through all of the new job armors in the game, and I also checked the ability to direct.
Okay. Ooh, too much armor plating on that. That's fair. Of course Zeppla went. Well, yeah, I mean, these were all big content creators. Like, all my videos were Mr. Happy. I've got some Llama Todd in the background. I was surprised Jim Bob went, but considering how popular Jim Bob's raid videos are, I could understand why they got invited. I'm really happy for them that they got that far, because a lot of their raid videos have probably been some of the best I've watched and helped me understand mechanics a lot better. Okay. Now, I'm a huge fan of Zeppla. Zeppela's living in Poland, though, so quite the flight. Depends on where they held the... Wait, she's in Poland now? I thought she moved to the US. Huh. Okay. She probably went to the EU one, not the Las Vegas one. Unless, did she put Las Vegas at the beginning? No. She probably went to the EU one, and usually the EU one's in, like, Germany or, somewhere around there. Remember, like, everybody, so, Japan, EU, and NA, all three sections, each one got a week. So Japan got a week, EU got a week, and, NA got a week to... for some of them to go in for a couple of hours and play around with this stuff. What? Oh, okay. So the first is like the art. Oh. Wow. Look at how... Oh, the 2-dice system's really nice. Oh, yeah, no. Some text is not translated yet, which makes sense. Oh wow, you can even select to see both of them on and off. And the way the colored metal looks is really nice too. Ooh. Oh wow, at the crown, the second dye is the jewel color. You can even dye the jewel color. Wow. Okay. I think that's kind of what I wanted to see from that. That is fantastic. Alright, y'all. I have been... Oh god, was this a almost 4-hour stream? Holy shit, this has been almost a 4-hour stream. I was honestly only expecting this to be an hour or two, but then I started pausing videos and talking and like really discussing the stuff because I got really into the jobs. But yeah, no, all this has actually made me very hyped for Dawntrail when it comes out. I will be streaming it, by the way, my going through the story. I probably won't be able to stream because I suspect when it comes out, how dare I be a streamer? I know, right? I probably won't be able to stream it the day of the 28th because I still do have work that day. But very likely I will start because I don't... Is it my week that week? No. Fuck! No! It's my Saturday to work that week too! God damn it! So I'll probably do like a 6-hour stream. Go to work. Come home. Sleep. Stream more. But probably do like an 8-hour stream on Sunday. And then up until I'm off for July 4th, probably a 4 to 6 hour stream. And then the weekend of July 4th, straight up 8-hour streams. Because that weekend, none of us will be working on Saturday. But yeah, I need to go to bed and get some sleep because I gotta be up at 4:30 in the morning. And it's 10, so I'm probably only getting 6 hours right now. Which is fine. Because I'm gonna come home and sleep again Friday take a nap Friday. Before I do, the, Summerfest stream. I'll probably start 30 minutes early. I'm either gonna be doing dailies on Final Fantasy XIV or art. We'll see. Probably, honestly, dailies, depending. But we'll see. Anyways, thank you guys for coming to the stream. I may compile this into an actual YouTube video. We'll see. I mean, it's gonna depend on how much time I have, to be honest. But thank you guys for coming in. I really enjoyed getting to chat with some of you on how you feel about certain jobs in Final Fantasy XIV. And all that. Tomorrow's stream is going to be at about 16:30 EST, aka 4:30 in the afternoon, Eastern time, because the Summer Game Fest announcement streams will be starting at 5 p.m. Eastern, and I do want to watch that. So, I will be on tomorrow afternoon, and I will probably go straight to sleep as soon as the thing's over, only to get up to do Saturday stream. That being said, thank you guys so much. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Until then, I hope you guys have a great, wonderful rest of your evening, and until next time.